What's up, everybody? Welcome back. BSL 17, man. We just saw an amazing game one between Dewalt and Eon Zerg with that unique early armor timing from Dewalt, man. So up next is going to be Eon Zerg's map pick, folks. So yeah, kind of interested to see how this game two is going to look, honestly.
Yeah, regardless of the map, I want to see Eon Zerg's response to the upgrades. The hardest part about playing versus someone who changes their upgrades, how do you counter it? I had thought about this from Zerg's perspective. I talked about it because if you watch recent games, every single game you see of Zerg, they always go +2 Hydras. But if you go +1 armor, you negate the +1, right? So, I wonder if Eon Zerg will respond himself with going for faster upgrades. Will he try and respond with getting a faster second evolution chamber to negate the +1, even though he'll be potentially down faster +1 armor? And even though he may be potentially down versus the weapon upgrade. It's an interesting thing with PvZ because both upgrades are strong for different reasons.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's also the chance that Dewalt just goes, standard +1 attack as well. So there's this really weird upgrade mind game that's normally not the case, I'd say, or at least, you're not expecting or, playing around it. But Dewalt has kind of created a bizarre situation here for Eon Zerg to deal with. Maybe Eon Zerg will change his play up, right? You mentioned +1 armor. I don't see why he couldn't maybe just go like a +1 armor, Ling Lurker, defend a hidden fourth base kind of style, or something to force Dewalt to play kind of into him, because Eon Zerg had great positioning that game. Great defense. The stack defense timing at both his third and the natural was great. So maybe it could be a different way for him to play. But it looks like game two going to be on Neo Dark Origin. Kind of a favorite, it feels like, amongst all the BSL competitors, and should be a pretty interesting map to get game two here. So, well, folks, let's check it out. It's going to be Dewalt versus Eon Zerg, game two on Dark Origin. And spawning top left as the red Protoss, it is Dewalt.
Yep, and in the bottom right, we have the one and only, it's Eon Zerg. A machine. In last game, when we had the Lings with +0 weapon versus +3 armor, that's insane, right? And I was thinking about it. First off, you don't know the other player's going to play like that. But if you did, what do you think about rushing Hive? Like playing the style that, was it Avila played, where you rush Hive and you go Ling upgrades? Because then, yes, Protoss has +3 armor. Maybe your Lings only have +1, but at least they're going to have Crackling. Do you think that could be something that could work versus the heavy upgrades from Protoss?
I was kind of thinking that, to be honest with you. Like, when I mentioned the whole going +1 armor, getting, Lurker Ling and playing defensive, that's kind of what you're doing with that build. And then you can do the Ling upgrades. You can go either Ling Lurker Defiler, or if you're really brave, you try to go Ultraless. But of course, Protoss isn't just gonna let you do that. They're gonna scout it, change their own composition. Maybe Dewalt would get an extra Dark Archon, to Maelstrom more Ultraless, or be a little more Zealot Archon heavy. So I don't know. I think it's definitely a potential option though for Eon Zerg.
What if you just plagued all the Zealots and then they can't get any benefit from that armor anymore? What do you think about that?
I think it's fair. I think it's
fair.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. That's the word that came to mind for me too.
Yeah, exactly. It was the first thing I thought. I was like, you know what? That sounds, yeah, right. That's how this game should be played. So maybe it could be a Defiler Plague Rush. I know I wouldn't expect it if I was Protoss.
Well, I think we got a 12 Nexus this game machine, followed up with the Forge in the front, and it's again another overpool. And the drone scouts it. Actually, a lot of times Zergs don't scout with their drone, but Eon Zerg did. and he will see that this is the build order. And how many lings is he going to build?
It's either two. It's just two. Oh man, yeah, that's a yikes, because you never want to let Protoss get away with such a quick nexus like this. But I guess he has to. Dark Origin, another map with quite the travel distance from main to main. So I don't know. I still don't think these Zerglings are going to be there in time.
I think they'll get there, but I think probes are going to block their way.
Let's see.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really close. He's going to get maybe a probe. Dang, that's a solid wall between the gate and the forge too. So there was no way to get like through that angle right there and go through the left side. So that was well done from Dewalt. But you got to remember, look how the layout is now. That forge is mega exposed. It feels like that's just definitely dead if there's any type of Hydra follow-up.
Yeah, and I mean, Eon Zerg, definitely known for his 973 openers, loves to use the build, is always a threat, but actually he's gonna show the lair, so it may be Hydra, but it won't be that early, that's for sure.
Yeah, I actually think if this probe dies, it could be a fake. That forge is too far forward for me to, if I was Zerg here, to let him get away with it. I'd be thinking like, no, dude, that's not allowed. That's illegal. You're gonna get punished. But we don't see the Hydrogen anywhere. I'm even looking at the natural to see if the drone will go off and build it there. But nope, he's, I guess, just gonna go for a Spire. And we actually have a Zealot move out.
The probe control is just too good. Like, there's no way Eon Zerg can deny this vision, it feels like.
Yeah, and okay, the Overlord did see the Zealot move out, but he still doesn't know where it is. And a lot of times the Zealot actually just don't, actually they move out but don't commit. But actually, it is going to commit over here, and if that's a drone, it's not. But still, it's going to be annoying to deal with.
Yeah, does get one Zergling so far, getting behind the minerals at the third here just to trade a little more efficiently. So at least he's scouting, seeing the ling count that he's kind of forced out of Eon Zerg here. And he's got to be happy seeing no drones at that third base.
Zealot. Eon Zerg doesn't know where it is. He can't believe that it just walked across the map. Actually, lings do come out in time, and he will be able to deal with it. But there's a ling counterattack? But how do you get by this gate forge setup?
I have no idea, man. Even a second cannon on the way. Yeah, there's just no way. There's no hole in that. So Eon Zerg going to be forced to pull back once again with those Zerglings. And we see a very comfortable probe lead here for Dewalt. Oh, wow. Tricky play. I guess, is there no Stargate at the natural?
It is.
It is Stargate. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Thought Dewalt canceled Stargate and went Citadel for some reason.
Machine, so far, everything almost looks identical. Like, the Citadel timing, it's a little bit later, but I think that's just because Dewalt had to pull a couple probes in the beginning to get his 12 next. Okay, actually, it's not. There's the +1 weapon. I was thinking, like, we may just have a repeat of Game 1. I did notice the Cybernetics is spinning, so he's gonna go for +1 weapon here. So that means that we're definitely gonna have more than 2 Corsairs. Like, Eon Zerg's not gonna be able to, build 7 mutas, 5 of them die, and then 2 mutas kill 8 probes. Like, that's not happening this game.
Yeah, definitely not. I kind of like this reaction from Dewalt. It's a little more standard, a little more safe. 1-1 Speed Zealot Corsair timings are very difficult to deal with, I'll tell you that. So Dewalt, looking like he's in a pretty good spot here to do some damage.
Well, in the main of Dewalt, unless I'm mistaken, I didn't see a Templar Archive anywhere. So this is a somewhat fast second gate. Yeah, and he is going to go for a timing follow-up. We're going to probably see that not 7:30 timing. Oh, look at that juke. Not today, sir.
Juke.
Oh, come on.
Nice pickup, though, from Eon Zerg there. He's got to go Archives. There's just no reason not to. There we go. It is a little delayed, you're right, but still, it's, he'll eventually get that storm and everything going.
Yeah, and I think the Scourge, seeing that the second gate's already done, he should know that this is going to be a timing attack, and he should be ready for that with his SimCity. One sunken at each base with good SimCity. You don't even really need to have very many Hydras at all to defend it. And in fact, he's not going to have any Hydras, period, because he's going to mutas.
Yeah, for sure. Solid choice here from Eon Zerg. Even just 5 mutas will be able to clean these zealots up very quickly. Even if the mutas weren't here, though, there's some great sunken placement from Eon Zerg. And yep, these scouting zealots immediately realize, oh, it's muta actually. I need to go home because he's not going to be getting home with many of them actually.
Also, Dewalt's actually lost a decent amount of zealots. Something like 5 or 6 zealots have gone across the map and didn't really do that much. Eon Zerg could really start powering really hard. I hope he at least goes into faster 6 hatch this time, and it looks like he's done so. Yep, there it is. So he's going to have 6 hatch production. He's going to have, you know, a bit of time to build up his drone count right now because Protoss can't attack. That's for damn sure. So we may be going into another strong mid game for Zerg.
Diving in here in the natural, remember Eon Zerg confirmed there was no cannon earlier, so he knows he's not really at a risk here. Ooh, Corsair though do pick up a couple Scourge kills, and Eon Zerg will be pushed back with the 7 muta.
Yeah, you see the worker count 51 to 42, so Protoss really doesn't need any more pros. Protoss really just needs to scale their gateway count. Kind of surprised that we're still sitting at just 4, but the additional gateway should be coming in soon. Now, this is 6 Corsairs. They're strong, and there goes some Scourge. And actually, we may see a massive supply block.
He did get a connect, though. Oh, no. The Scourge coming in piecemeal. Yeah, this is what happens, man. Corsairs are very deadly with +1.
Yeah, this is devastating damage. He loses like 4 Overlords. He's even forced to build a Spore now because the Scourge can't connect. These mutas, they need to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, they definitely do. And Eon Zerg wisely retreating because he would have lost that fight for sure.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. 7 Corsairs, you know, losing a decent amount of zealots in the early game is a big mistake, but he's definitely recovered at this point. And in fact, Dewalt could take this time where he's gotten Zerg supply block to potentially take his 3rd base. You know, what's the map? Dark Origin is a hard map to attack across bridges, so I'd love to see him take a 3rd base. But look at this. Despite seeing those Sairs, he still finds 2 Templars.
And gets away! Oh, man. So yeah, Dewalt not quite able to capitalize on that, but wow, great movement there from Eon Zerg to pick off all the remaining Templars. And now he's building up that Hydra count. It's not like Dewalt can just run in with these Corsairs and finish those mutas off. He'll trade those inefficiently as well.
Yeah, and despite the supply block, Eon Zerg got good drone count now, 48. Great 6 hatch production, amazing. Evolution Chamber was really good too. There's no way he went in again with... It is so crazy that he went in again with the mutas because you know they're so heavily damaged. Like, this is 700 worth of resources that you know are just going to get melted by Corsairs, but he somehow avoids them again.
No way. And doing some great job getting some scouting info here on the 3rd base, but they will fall, it looks like. He's got 4 left, actually.
Okay, well, Eon Zerg, while that was happening, ends up taking top right under Dewalt's nose. Dewalt, if he can sneak out a DT, he could shut that down pretty easily, especially with his great Corsair domination in the air.
Yeah, that is a lot of Corsairs, and they're very difficult to deal with. I do like the Spore follow-up, though, from Eon Zerg, right? Because eventually these Corsairs have to get traded somehow. They have to get some efficiency. It wouldn't be great for Eon Zerg to go straight into muta right now because, you know, of the Corsair count. So Dewalt will likely wait for a counter timing and kill a bunch of Overlords with these Corsairs.
Well, okay, I was about to say if he goes right now before the Lurkers morph, he may actually be able to go for a killing move. Okay, look at this. Sairs are going to knock down the Overlord, and we're going to go in for a DT drop.
Yeah, this is very nice from Dewalt. Eon Zerg might not expect it.
Oh yeah, this could actually do game-ending damage because at the same time Eon Zerg is out in the map when a drop is coming, so he's not going to see this. He's going to be busy doing something in the center of the map and look back in his main and see his entire worker lines just gone.
Yeah, happens more often than you'd think, honestly. And here it goes. DT in that mineral line. Eon Zerg, though, will be denying that 3rd base of Dewalt.
Yeah, but look, yes, he denies the third base, but he literally did it right when the DT walked in, and the entire drone line is gone, like I said.
Yeah, eOnzErG still not noticing. There's no Overlord. And actually, there we go. eOnzErG finally does realize it. Pulls a few Overlords and some Hydralisks back into his main to try to defend it. But yeah, that DT has done some massive damage.
Yeah, this is one of those certified gypsy moments right there. You're like, yes, I shut down the third base. I've got 4 bases, and then all of a sudden your keyboard's broken somehow, right? Because you're just slamming it against your wall. And now, Dewalt... I mean, also, Zerg's entire army is across the map. Dewalt can go for a massive counterattack, and this game is just completely blown wide open.
Yeah, this was such a great counter timing while Eon was dealing with that pesky DT inside the main. And eOnzErG, he doesn't know what to do. It looks like he's going to try to pull his army back and salvage this third somehow. But good luck getting across those bridges.
Yeah, now you got to go across the bridges into Storm. And also, that Storm hit a lot of Overlords. Those Overlords right there. The 7 Corsairs are still alive. They're in the center of the map, but if they were with the army right here, they come. He's gonna put Zerg so deep in the red.
I mean, this is just so difficult to recover from here for eOnzErG.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of Zealots are falling still, but I mean, man, Dewalt just looking like a monster.
Yeah, it's 92 supply out of 148, but these Sayers should be wreaking havoc on these Overlords. Actually, they're not killing as many as I thought. Okay, there's another one. But okay, look at that. That's a lot of Hydras from the top side. He's going to be able to kill the army off, I think. But he lost half of his production. Also, Dewalt found top right, so that base is dead also.
Yeah, top right being countered. Still, though, that was, I mean, at least Dewalt's entire army. You got to say, like, anytime you're able to wipe out a Protoss force like that, it's not always the easiest to recover and rebuild. But yeah, this is still going to be very difficult for eOnzErG.
Yeah. Literally, he lost half of his production. He did keep a lot of his army alive, but he also lost half of his drones. He lost top right. Yes, Dewalt lost his army, but he can rebuild it instantly, and he can just sit across the bridges while he builds his third base right now. So he's fine. I don't see how you can transition. And look at the upgrades. They're crazy. I don't see how you can transition out of this.
Man.
Also, with the Evolution Chamber being at the third base, which is now off the map, means he lost his +2 power spike. So this is it for eOnzErG. I would say he has to win with this attack. Otherwise, Dewalt is just going to win 2-0.
eOnzErG does have the high ground here, so Dragoon's not quite able to land with that 100% efficiency. Cannon's warping in for Dewalt, and yeah, as you stated, man, the upgrade difference just proving to be a big issue here for eOnzErG.
Yep, I feel like GG is imminent at this point. Third base got denied. What can you do as eOnzErG? I think his counterattack was actually exactly what you should have done. The problem is the DT came in at the same time. If that DT doesn't get in, I think this is a completely different ball game, but that's just how it goes sometimes, and we are moments away from seeing Dewalt move on into the winners match.
Yeah, absolutely here. 126 supply to the 56 of eOnzErG. eOnzErG, though, still fighting with everything he's got. Trying to do a little lurker Hydra timing on the third, but GG is forced out there, and Dewalt taking the series 2-0. Very well done there.
Yeah, solid build orders. I think eOnzErG played pretty good, and especially the Dark Origin game until the DT came out. So I think if he comes through the bottom side and somehow faces Dewalt again, I could see eOnzErG, striking back in a rematch series.
For sure. I mean, even the Invader game, at certain points, early on, I thought he had it. He was playing very, very well. Great defense, holding, at least getting to a position where he's up 4 bases against Dewalt. So, yeah, it's it was still really, really well done from eOnzErG, and I'm sure he's going to rally, in the lower bracket matches and try to still make his way out of this group. But Dewalt will be the first one moving on to the winners finals here of Group B. With that said, up next we have a completely different matchup. It's going to be a Zerg versus Terran between Messiah and the Champignon, TerrOr.
Yeah, the Champignon. He's going to be looking to make it back into the round of 8, but this group is ridiculously hard. So we're going to be going into a great break first, and then we'll be back with our second series of the day.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the BSL 17 Group B. I'm Machine. Joining back is Nyoken here, and man, we have an incredible matchup up next here. It's going to be Messiah versus TerrOr, Chinese Zerg going up against the Peruvian Terran, and yeah, man, should be a pretty exciting match.
Yeah, I got high expectations for this match. Messiah already taking down Gypsy in a round of 24. Was no gimmicks either. It was just straight up crushed him with mutas. Really did devastating damage with his mutas. But he's going up against a guy who sometimes pulls out builds where you just can't go mutas, because if you do, you're just gonna die. Like, he might float vultures in your base, a factory in your base. He might go for like a vulture marine medic timing, and that just hits before the mutas. I mean, we may not even get to that point of the game. So I'm curious how Messiah is going to adapt to somebody like TerrOr, who can literally pull out every build imaginable.
Exactly, man. As you said, unlike most Terrans, Terran being the race that you expect rigidity and just, following your build to a T and defensiveness, TerrOr has just kind of mastered the art of being able to do it all. I've said it many times. I think he has the best 8 racks opener of any foreign Terran that I can even think of. So he's always got that in his back pocket. But at the same time, man, he can take it to late game. He can do some mech openers for Zerg. He is just, if anything, unpredictable and very difficult to train for. But yeah, Messiah, man, Chinese Zerg, doing very well and doing well in this matchup, as we've seen so far here, facing off against Gypsy. So I'm very excited to see how this one's going to go, man.
Yeah, I even forgot about the 8 racks. Invader is a close, rush distance map. You could build it on the low ground and float it back into your main for a full wall. So let's get into game 1 between TerrOr and Messiah.
And spawning at the top left, it's our blue Zerg from China, Messiah.
All right, and in the bottom right, representing South America, it is TerrOr.
Champignon.
The Champignon. For those of you that are wondering why I'm memeing that, it's just the spelling that TerrOr has of champion on his stream. I always see him write that on his stream, and I love the spelling, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just like it. So we do have the SCV going to the low ground. Now this is okay. There we go. 8 racks, man.
Yeah, I couldn't have called it. It's finally the reverse of the caster curse. Like, he's doing something that I say he could actually do, and he does it very well, man. I mean, there's no reason for him not to pull something like this out. He's like a Terran that if you're Zerg, you should consider going a pool first occasionally against him, because he is just so adept at this build. He 99% of the time he goes into a gas and he plays out of it very, very well. He is by no means all in. When he does his 8 racks openers here, he's very great at understanding the different build potentials that he can play out from. So we'll have to see what he chooses to do here.
Yeah, and one thing about this 8 racks in comparison to 8 racks is that you see in ASL, for example, is this is mega far forward. You ain't floating this back to your base. So I wonder what his follow-up is going to be. A lot of times you see gas as a follow-up, and you would think the factory's got to be in the main, but that may not be the case. Like, if this 8 racks is going well, I could see the SCV going to bottom left, building a factory there, and then floating it into the main.
I mean, you got to be certain that you are dominating the Zerg to do that, right? Because you essentially have no defense in your main. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Of any Terran that would be willing to do it is definitely TerrOr. TerrOr not showing with the Marine yet. I kind of like it. Also not making a bunker quite yet, but the drone confirms nothing inside the main. He knows this has to be some kind of a proxied barracks play. Whether he's committed or not, he won't know. So 3 drones actually moving out here.
The drone has already done a good job. It's 35 health on that SCV, and there's no secondary SCV either. Okay, it's not going to be a bunker, and the reason it's not a bunker is because TerrOr wants to be able to get this factory up in the main. If you go for a bunker before the factory, like, you just can't afford the factory forever. So this is not intending to kill our Zerg player. It's just to crush his econ, and probably he's just going to try and repair this bunker and just sit here.
Huh. Is this like an accidental kill on that?
Yeah, this is actually doing way more damage than it should have done. He's going to kill drones, and he's going to kill a second drone almost. He's going to get the sunken also. Wow, it wasn't even a... Oh my god, this is actually devastating.
Another drone going down. SCV's still alive, ready to repair too.
Whoa. What is that bunker, man? Is it StarCraft 2? How does his Marine shoot the drones when mine don't? They would just be sitting there attacking separate lings and not getting any kills. And there's also a starport in his main, so Messiah is in big time trouble.
Yeah, man. TerrOr off to a great start. We kind of called it. Vulture is out in plenty of time inside the main to defend any potential slowling timing. So yeah, Barracks even being landed here. I think that's bait, though. I think he wants all the Zerglings to head over that Barracks, and while it kind of spots for these Zerglings. And yeah, we're seeing the Vulture getting after it here, chasing down these Zerglings of Messiah.
This game is donezo. The only way that this game can go on is if somehow this Vulture gets killed and Lings run across the map and TerrOr like loses his hand somehow. Like, oh my gosh, I just don't see how you transition out of this. Also, Messiah hasn't even used any of his gas, so there's no lair, there's no speed, there's no Hydra Den. He has no vision onto the natural either. He doesn't even know if there's a command center. When the Wraith comes out, it's most likely going to kill some Overlords. And I mean, also Messiah's got to consider that this could be a drop, because think about it, he saw Marines being built in from that barracks. It could be like a Marine medic drop, but he's also going to account for that too.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, there's just no vision and no way to get it. Especially once this Overlord dies, the saving grace is it at least saw that there's a Wraith, right? He knows there has to be a starport. But after that, it's lights out, man. Messiah will know nothing until he gets a Spire of his own.
Well, TerrOr did hit the devastating 26 out of 26 supply block that every Terran's experienced at least 100 million times in their lives. So that will at least allow Messiah to catch up a little bit. Also, the bunker in the main to be building with a build like this does actually cripple Terran's econ a bit. So actually, maybe TerrOr isn't as far ahead as I thought. And we actually have an armory follow-up. So this is going to be mech.
I think this is a 2-hatch Hydra timing. Oh, never mind. Lair, actually, from Messiah. At least, the Wraith is forcing out some Hydras for defense here. But it's going to be the wrong answer against mech.
Oh, there's Spider-Mind upgrade. I guess technically it doesn't necessarily have to be mech. He did float his barracks all the way to his main. I was expecting him to float it at his natural and land it there. He could be going into something weird like Marine Medic Vulture Valkyrie. I don't know what this is.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's going to place these mines, block the potential thirds, and then just load up his bio in these 3 Vultures and drop them inside the main with the Wraith. This is crazy, man. I never see this.
Mines are a really good response. Like, you don't have any way to get your Overlords out the map because of the Wraith. That means that you can just power really hard off of a small commitment to ground defense, and that will allow him to catch up his econ quite quickly. We see just an all-around weird everything from Zerg. Like, there's an evolution chamber at his natural now. I don't even know if that's intended to be for upgrades, or if that's to make sure he doesn't lose to Cloak Wraith, or what that's for.
I'm assuming upgrade. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be +1 armor. I wonder if this is just like a reaction to mech. He might just be assuming this is mech with the mines now or something.
Look at this. This is a drop. Use all your mines. What are Vultures supposed to do now into Sunken? Well, nothing. So he's going to drop them in the main and just try and kill some more drones.
This is going to hurt. Oh, man. 25, 24, 23 drones left. Still going.
Yeah, this is just exactly what you should do, because these Vultures are useless supply to you. They're literally useless. In fact, if you lose all 4 of them, that's 8 supply for you to save. You don't even have to build a depot. Like, you could just lose them and build more Marines. So this is an amazing trade. He's still getting drones.
Dude, incredible control, too. This was only 4 Vultures, and, I mean, it's done so much damage to Messiah here.
And it is actually, I'm still curious what the armory is for. Maybe it was in case somehow this player had a Spire, he could save himself with the Valkyrie, because now he's just going into tank, vessel, Marine medic. Messiah's going to try and take a low ground third base. I don't see how that's ever going to be able to survive, because we just need a couple more rounds of Marine Medic, and then TerrOr can just get out onto the map.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, he's going. He's got to use that starport somehow, so it's likely either Valkyrie now or Science Facility. I always kind of prefer vessels, man. I think vessels are scary. Oh, and actually, we do have a vessel already. Jeez. Okay.
Yep, he's gonna wait for probably 2 tanks and then go.
Is he waiting for academy upgrades like stim and
Well,
range?
yeah, his stim I think just finished, so he should start range in a minute. I don't even think he started that just yet. I don't even know if he started irradiate. I imagine since his vessel's done, he's probably at least got it close to finishing. We had lurkers moving out like they want to get into some type of hold position play, but turns around once he spots the mines.
Yeah, those mines are so scary and they trade so efficiently. He could, I mean, I like the siege tank, but he could continue just building vulture and mines, and it would still be quite difficult for Zerg to handle at this point.
Well, because TerrOr never got into the natural and saw the evolution chamber, he's actually playing it like this as Mutalist, so he is spending a lot of resources to build turrets when we know that this is actually going to be Ultralist Man, because Hive is about done, and the armor upgrade is done now, so he actually already has +1 armor. So it does stagnate TerrOr's attack a little bit, but I'm sure he'll be moving out in just a moment.
Yeah, the siege tank is really going to be the biggest key to this timing. Without Muta, there's no real great counter to the range that siege tanks provide here for Messiah, so this is looking to be a pretty devastating timing here from TerrOr.
Yeah, not a lot of barracks production, so that will keep him at bay for a little bit. Defiler is a little bit surprising, but I guess he feels like that's the only way he can at least stall the attack. I think he's right about that. If he went straight Ultralist, he probably just doesn't have the upgrades to push through the Terran army. But I still am worried about this third base, especially with it being on low ground.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about the third base. I'm even worried about the natural here for Messiah at this point. Drone count, not where it should be in the main, obviously, after the vulture timing. And yeah, I mean, he's just all sorts out of position here. Not really scouting this move out from TerrOr, so this might kind of catch him off guard here.
Yeah, I don't even think he knew that this army moved out at all. So now he finally sees it, but by then, there's the irradiates that go off, so 3 lurkers are just going to get taken down for free. Consume is just started. I think that's like an 80-second upgrade or something like that, so we've got upwards of a minute or so before that can even complete. And Messiah, he just doesn't even have a minute. He doesn't even have 20 seconds, so he's going to go now, and he doesn't even really kill anything.
Yeah, the +1 armor kicked in there for TerrOr, and man, he made short work of Messiah there. Game 1, that 8 racks play being the key to kind of kick things off there, so very well done from TerrOr.
Yeah, and that's the type of stuff you gotta be wary of when you're facing TerrOr. Can literally pull out anything. I mean, you even called it 8 racks. I was expecting the 8 racks to flip back your main or natural and wall off and take the command center, but TerrOr showing us an interesting follow-up with the 1-1-1 play, and now he's up 1-0. Messiah's gonna be his map pick, but I don't even know if you can have a good map versus TerrOr, because he's got everything planned. I know when I played Dragon in BSL, a few seasons ago, he went and played TerrOr like 5 times on like every map that we were going to play. So you know TerrOr's got a lot of experience on every single map, including probably that one that you see at the bottom, Shooting Break.
Yeah, still, kind of interested to finally get to see this map. We haven't seen too many instances of Shooting Break so far with, such that a unique natural. So definitely looking forward to that in our losers finals later on. But obviously, man, it's Messiah's turn to kind of rally, see what map he might go for here and how he might play against TerrOr to maybe look to take game number 2. TerrOr really been favoring that 1-1-1 kind of style of play versus Zerg as of recently, it feels like, and why not, man? He's very good at it. So I'm kind of interested to see if maybe he might open with that again. Will it be an 8 racks? Will he just do kind of a standard racks in main into command center? He's got a lot of different options to work with here.
Yeah, and I think actually that 8 racks that we just saw was one of the first 8 racks that we've seen in a very long time from TerrOr. Like, we know that he's someone that can mix it in, and he just hadn't done it for a long time. Finally pulling it out on a good map and gets a solid victory there. And I don't know about this. You're picking another 2-player map on a map that can be 8 racks also and can easily wall the natural, especially if he gets bottom right.
There's also even more tricks TerrOr can play with, right? He could float his factory, you know, from the main outside to the third, or even inside Zerg's main. Like, there's a lot of threats here. You could jump the vulture over the backside mineral if you're really good. Obviously tough to do, but with that, it looks like both our players are ready to go, folks. So let's check it out. Go into game number 2 between TerrOr and Messiah. And spawning top left as the blue Zerg, we have Messiah.
Yeah, in the bottom right, getting the dream spawn, it's TerrOr. And if I was TerrOr and got this spawn after getting a successful 8 racks off, I would just 8 racks again, man. I can't tell you how strong 8 racks is on any map where you can just float it back and go for a full wall. I mean, it's just ridiculous. There's nothing Zerg can really do about it unless they go for some crazy pool timing. But we actually are not going to see that because we have TerrOr queuing up a bunch of SCVs.
Yeah, you know, just kind of changing his builds, right? Which I always appreciate from TerrOr. He hardly ever does the same build twice in a row because he just understands the threat, you know, that comes with being able to change your build every single game. You know, it's hard to read tendencies. So I'm pretty interested to see how TerrOr chooses to follow this up.
Yep, and there's the depot at the natural, so you know it's coming. This is going to be a full wall off, and that means that just Terran can get away with absolute murder. They can go 0 Marines expand. They can go 0 Marines expand into gas if they want. I mean, they could even do a bunch of fakes on the barracks where you produce Marines but then actually cancel them, act like you're going for a timing or Marine medics, and you're actually not. Okay, we're going to have a 1 base play, actually. It's going to be tech opener again.
I mean, great. You know, it's honestly a good build here, right? Zerg has to scout in with that Overlord and check the command center timing, or you could be caught off guard very easily. Now, I know Messiah is great. He's very likely to do so, but there's always that case you mess up and suddenly TerrOr could be across the map with a vulture before Messiah even knows what's going on.
Well, we did see JYJ and ASL try and pull off mech twice on Dark Origin. I'm sure TerrOr has seen those games. It wouldn't surprise me if there is a mech opener, but I'm not really the biggest fan of straight mech, so I do hope that this is actually a 1-1-1. We'll see, though. Factory's going to be going down, and SV's going to get in and see this is normal 2-hatch play, you know, the 2-minute gas. Pool at pretty much the same time as the gas.
Yep, great pool placement to help boost that top mineral from Messiah. We see factory down the main, as you said, and 2 SCVs being pulled off gas, so this is not going to be any kind of a 2 Stargate opener, 2 Port Wraith or anything. Wow, looks like TerrOr lifted and walking across the map with the Marine. Oh, I wasn't sure if maybe he was hitting a timing, but he just messed up the control. I think he was trying to push that Overlord away real quick, but unable to do so. So Messiah has to know that there's at least a chance this is a gas opener. He'll need to get a sunken at the natural, and he does.
Yeah, this is a good response. With it being TerrOr, the command center could just be on the high ground for some reason, and he floats it at the natural, but not going to be the case this time around. It is a starport opener again, so this looks pretty much identical to game 1, other than it not being an 8 racks. Now, Messiah, he should do much better this time around. Remember, last game he lost 4 drones to the 8 racks. He lost the creep colony too. That was morphing into sunken. So he lost overall 5 drones plus the additional 125 minerals. So it was just crippling amounts of damage. But with taking no damage now, we should be in for a much better game.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little bit of a supply block there from Messiah on that 18 supply mark. But the Overlord did finish. Spire at the natural here. I like how TerrOr hasn't even built a Vulture, confirming the sunken at the natural. That factory's done nothing. He's done nothing but make tech and SCVs.
Yep, and that's another armory at his backside of his base. So it's going to be Wraith Opener. I think the purpose of the armory is you build it, and if there's the Spire, okay, you have the option to go Valkyrie. If you get in there with a Wraith and see, it's Hydrogen or whatever, well, then of course you don't build the Valkyrie. So I think it's, it's just a cheap backup plan in case you need it. And this time around, it should pay off. We've got the eBay coming in. eBay, okay, it's at a good time too. So everything looks pretty normal, at least from what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, very normal here from TerrOr. I like Messiah hiding that Overlord bottom left, trying to prevent those key supply blocks from occurring. But looks like TerrOr just going to be gunning across the map with this Wraith, trying to grab an Overlord before the Spire completes here.
Yep, and look at that. Wraith finds the Spire instantly, so now he knows that, hey, mutas are coming, so you can be pretty confident that the next 255 minerals are going to be for the Valkyrie, and there it is. So he's going to get Valkyrie out. He's got his barracks coming down. He's going to have delayed Academy, so his stim range timing is going to be really far away. So if Messiah was to somehow know that, he should take a third base, which is what he's doing.
It's going to get scouted immediately, though, from that Wraith, so great awareness here from TerrOr to at least see that bunker at the wall. I like this because it's just so common for Zergs to break down these supply depots on this map. So, at least TerrOr forcing Messiah to kind of take some damage and trade it for minerals.
Well, as a Terran player, I like just seeing that this Terran got away with just 2 Marines. There are 2 Marines in that bunker, and that's it. He has absolutely nothing else other than that 1 Wraith and 1 Valkyrie. And hello, Mutalisk, you're going to have to get out of here, sir. And he even loses one of the Mutalisks.
Yeah, that's painful. TerrOr doing a great job so far, really staying on top of that SCV production. Yeah, I mean, it's just looking great for Terran so far.
Well, that's a third. Is that a third Valkyrie? I thought I saw him build a second one earlier, but I only see one. Not sure exactly where it is, so maybe that is... Yeah, there it is. I was like, I know he built another one, so it's going to be 3 Valkyrie now. That's an expensive commitment right there. Like, he could have built 2 more barracks with one of those Valkyries pretty much, and you gotta be careful, because if this was a fast Hydra Lurker switch, remember, he has 2 Marines. Literally, he has 2 Marines, so he would just die to that. But every time we look in Messiah's main, I don't see a Hydrogen anywhere. So if he goes mass Muta Scourge into this, he could be in big time trouble. Oh!
Yeah, wow, he does grab Valkyrie, though. That is a huge pickup for Messiah. Still, it was at the cost of almost all of his Mutalisks.
Well, I don't know. Okay, he is getting +1 armor for the mutas, and +1 armor on the mutas is massive. If TerrOr is getting +1 weapon on his air, that can definitely counteract it, but you really don't see that almost ever. So actually, mass Muta Scourge could be good into this, especially now that he got in and saw that, hey, your Rax is massively delayed. By the time TerrOr actually moves out onto the map, the Muta count should be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, the bio, though, is going to be quite difficult to deal with. Obviously, Mutas can compete in large numbers with Scourge against Valkyries, but they're not really the best counter to Marine Medic. Especially if you're attacking in mass, it feels like. So TerrOr, once again, might have a pretty tricky little timing here to work with.
Yeah, he's going to have like 5 Valkyries. Valkyries deal a lot of damage, obviously, but if Zerg can get out something like 24 Mutalisks, I think there's a chance to overwhelm the 5 Valkyries, but maybe not. He's going to have some good Scourge connection. Now, I was wondering if he will go for +2 armor. Now, if he gets +2 armor, Valkyries are just pretty much useless. So TerrOr, now, he is on a timer. He's still going to have a decent time. It's still going to have like a 3-minute window, but if he waits more than that, I mean, he's just going to do no damage to these mutas.
And TerrOr confirming no Hydrogen. All he sees is Lair and Muta Inspire. So he should at least have some of the information to be able to sniff this out. TerrOr getting a Vessel. I mean, Vessel's great against Muta.
Yeah, but does he have a Radiate? I don't even know if he has a Radiate. Okay, now he's starting it, so it's going to be like a minute and a half away. that's going to give, Messiah a lot of time still to get that +2 armor. I feel
You
like
have to
TerrOr
wait
should...
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like TerrOr's going to wait for his Irradiate to come in, and there we go. I mean, this is pretty much what I was saying. He's going to have something like 24, maybe 30 Mutalisks, and he may be able to overrun this army, because if we look what's on the ground, there's really not that many Marine Medic.
It is 4-gas Zerg. Also, the Marine Medic just now starting +1, so no upgrades. I was thinking he was upgrading those the whole time. Oh no. That could be a little bit of a misstep here.
I think if TerrOr had skipped one Valkyrie and instead gotten +1 weapon, he may be out on the map at this point.
He had the gas. He was banking gas for a while. So
Yeah.
he could have done it and not skipped the Valkyrie, I think.
Well, TerrOr, you gotta do something, man. Irradiate is a game changer. If he can land an Irradiate on a clump of mutas, like, that can deal devastating amount of damage. But we'll see. Marines always do surprise me with how much damage they can actually deal. TerrOr's econ is crazy. It's 51 SCVs on 2 bases versus just 35 drones for Zerg. But Zerg critically has the quad gas, which is what you're always looking for. However, Zerg is also just stuck on lair tech. I don't think there's any high follow-up, so this is make or break for him.
Yeah, there's no transition. Oh, well, we say that he is starting Hive, but I mean, I think if you're going to do this style, you just got to commit, right?
Whoa!
Whoa, he's attacking in before +2. Oh, that's not good.
Well, this is the one way that you can lose. The Irradiate.
Kill everything, though. Oh my gosh. Even using the Irradiate to target over the bio. And suddenly, man, Messiah looks like he's done it. Bizarre. Huh.
I was telling you, man, these Mutalisks, they're super strong. They don't even wait for the +2 armor, and they still just kill everything. He's scanning the mutas because he can't even believe what he's seeing right there, but it doesn't detect anything. And TerrOr may just be knocked out here.
Yeah, this is big damage. Siege tanks, unfortunately, blocking that bio from moving out and trying to recover this natural here. SCVs continue to fall. And, I mean, Messiah doesn't even need to commit here. He could just back up. Actually, he is going to continue doing damage. And, yeah, as Zero points out, +2 armor has finished. So, suddenly, these Mutalisks, man, they're doing so much damage and taking no damage from this bio.
Yeah, it's +2 armor Mutalisks versus +0 Valkyries, +0 Marines, +0 turrets. The only thing that actually does damage here are the Irradiates, and that's it.
Yeah, final vessel falls, and GG is called there from TerrOr. So we actually have a tied-up series here between Messiah and TerrOr after that one. Man, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was... I'm just sitting there thinking, like, dude, you're gonna miss your time. You're gonna miss your timing, and then hey, here comes Messiah. He misses his timing. I'm like, no, dude, you literally were waiting this whole time for the +2, and it just doesn't matter. Oh man, that was different, but the mutas, man, like, they're surprisingly strong into the Valkyries that are not upgraded.
Yeah, they got the job done, man. Like, the Scourge cloning was on point. Those Valkyries got a volley off, I think, to start, and that was about it. Vessels falling as well. The Irradiate was pretty good, but Messiah's control was just a little better. Yeah, he will tie this up, so at least the Champignon gets, map pick going into the final game here. And he's, so far he's really been leaning into and favoring that 1-1-1 style opener. I never say this about TerrOr, but I'm kind of expecting the same going into the final game of this series.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of the same. It seems like he's really worked on 1-1-1, or maybe he'll do some type of variation, sort of, with the 1-1-1, but I do expect to see something similar. If I was him, though, I think you got to pick Retro or Polypoid. Retro's got so many positions that you can wall the natural. If you spawn bottom right of Polypoid, that's another great walling map. You also got good walls at top or bottom left there. And, just in general, TerrOr's just extremely strong in those maps. So out of those two, I think I would be picking those.
The one complaint I gotta have for TerrOr with Retro is the fourth base positioning just feels like very far away sometimes. So I actually think a lot of Zergs like picking Retro against Terran. So this might, just as easily go well for Messiah here. But with that, folks, yeah, Retro will be the final map of this series. So let's jump into Game 3 between Messiah and TerrOr. And spawning top right as the red Terran from Peru, the Champignon, TerrOr.
And then bottom left, tying up the series 1-1, it's Messiah. And Machine TerrOr already hit the lottery here because he got top right. That is by far the best spawn. Easily, it's an easy position to wall. Can 8 racks, of course, and then float it back for the wall. So already I'm liking TerrOr's position.
He does get lucky with the position, but there's still plenty of ways to get unlucky on a map like this. We do see the SCV moving out though. It is going to be the forward 8 racks. I don't know, man. It's also cross map, right? That is some travel time. What do you think if you were tearing this position?
Well, of course, yes. Zerg got a good spawn here with it being cross spawn, but I mean, you're still just feeling like, okay, I got the dream position because now I can still wall the natural, and it's going to be hard, of course, to make a cross spawn 8 racks work. But in the Invader game, he made it work, so I don't really have any doubt that he'll still deal a lot of damage. The thing I'm most looking for is the follow-up. Are we going to have another gas follow-up, or will it just be normal expand? Messiah's got his hatchery coming down now.
Yeah, hatchery already down at that natural. No drone scout yet, but it does look like finally a drone will be going out and scouting. So it's not like this ARAX is going to go unscouted, because as we all know, that could be devastating. Pool and gas going down same time. Pretty standard.
Yep, the standard 2-minute gas timing. SCV is going to get spotted by that Overlord. And the Overlord's going to spot the other SCV, and if he's really on top of his game, or I guess the drone will scout that SCV, if he's on top of his game, he'll know that, hey man, why are you double scouting? This is most likely going to be an 8 racks, especially since he doesn't see a base there. So now he should know that this has to be 8 racks, but he hasn't pulled anything yet.
Yeah, you always got to expect it. He's got to watch that second Overlord positioning too, man. Sometimes you could lose a game just by... it is over water, so it would likely be a lure here from Messiah. But, of course, here we go. 2 SCVs, 2 Marines coming in here to the natural. No drones pulled yet from Messiah, but he does confirm that bunker going down here. And remember, Messiah already building the gas inside his main, so it is going to be very difficult here for him to recover if this, Marine timing gets a little too intense.
Oh, he gets a
nice
drone.
Targeting.
He's going to get another drone easily. Okay, there's a second drone. And if he gets a third... Oh, he gets 3 drones with taking no damage. 4 drones. 5 drones. Okay, Machine, this game's done. 6 drones. He could literally just throw away the Marines just to free up supply if he wants. Or he can just walk away.
Yeah, you want to be as efficient as possible.
He's going to kill the Lynx. There's 4 Marines here. There's 2 SCVs. Okay, that Marine wants to die, apparently. He's off in no man's land. Oh, it was a bait, Machine. You thought that Marine was going to die? Hell no, he ain't dying.
Oh, hell no, man. Dude, man. This is such a painful spot for Messiah.
He killed 6 drones and lost nothing. He didn't lose anything. He even canceled the bunker. Yeah. What were you saying about cross-spawn ARAX?
I add it to my list of Terran nightmares, man. At this point, I assume just due to travel distance that maybe Messiah would have a little easier time holding it. That is not the case, and yeah Messiah knows it too.
Yeah,
he's just mass ling.
He ling all into what he knew was a wall. I will say this: when you do wall like this, it is deceptive how much surface area the Lings have. Like, they do have a lot of surface area. They can burst down depots pretty fast.
Oh.
Okay, they can burst down depots even faster when Marines are killing themselves. So this could, in some world, maybe work.
What a silly game that would be, man, at this point. And it's absolutely going to be a Ling-On. There's no question at this point. Ooh, TerrOr does scout a good amount of Zerglings at that natural, though. This should key off something. I mean, if you're TerrOr, you abandon everything and you plug the wall and you make Marines right now. You need to. And we see he's actually going for the greediest eBay plus Academy. No second barracks. After that damage, I am so surprised. There is a chance here for Messiah.
Yeah, and you know, if we go back to the wall, the Marines are right against the depot. You need them to be a little bit back so the SCVs can actually go repair. Because I can't tell you how many games I've actually lost where it's like, oh, I'll just repair this easily. And then the Marines are just standing in the way and I'm just sitting there screaming like, dude, repair! Please! You're dying! But they just can't get there. And then the depot falls and then everything dies. And I'm like, are you serious? I just died to a Ling all in with a full wall? Well, if Messiah's gonna go, he's gotta go now though, because Stem's about to kick in.
Yeah, he's gotta go, man. And all the Zerglings still at the natural here. At least he's moving around that SCV. Oh, scan confirms it. Come on, TerrOr, you gotta recognize what's going on, dude. Make a wall, make bunkers, make everything.
He can't. He has nothing to repair. There's no SCVs pulled. If the depot dies, which it can, okay. Look, the top depot is the real threat here because there's nothing to repair. Here we go. This is the one timing that Messiah has. The stem kicks in, and stem is too good. It's too good, machine.
Too good, man. Marines too strong. It was looking a little scary there. I think if Messiah just insta-went, he might have been able to do it. But unfortunately, you know, bought a little bit of time waiting for that Zergling speed. And TerrOr takes a pretty convincing series, 2-1.
Yeah, TerrOr looks very deadly. He's very aggressive in this series, which is a throw-off from... You know, I think I've even seen several seasons now where TerrOr hasn't pulled out an 8-rack. So it's a nice switch up. He gets the win, but now he's rewarded with the Protoss versus Terran Master, Dewalt, who is waiting in the winner's match. So we're going to be going into a break, and then we'll get into that series, which I'm sure is going to be epic.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the BSL 17 Group B here. We are back and ready already with the winners finals match. It's going to be Dewalt facing off PVT against the champion, TerrOr.
Yeah, and this is the match that I wanted to see. I'm a Terran player, so of course I want to see TerrOr go deep, and he's got his workout cut out for him because Dewalt, absolute master in PvT. But you know, TerrOr was a champion of BSL, and he took down Bonneth, who had like a 100% win rate versus Terran. So that just tells you how strong TerrOr's TVP is. He is not someone that only plays upgrade Terran. He will do 2-fact, he will do 5-fact, he will do 7-fact, he'll channel his inner fantasy, go fact starport. In fact, I think that's his strongest build. So Dewalt, he's going to have to be on his A game, because even though Dewalt's PvT is amazing, TerrOr's TVP is no joke.
Absolutely not, man. He is definitely a big threat, but Dewalt, you know, obviously someone who's experienced in taking down threats, man. Like, he's just an incredible Protoss to handle. It doesn't matter what matchup it is, man. He is a big, big problem for anyone in the BSL here. So I am very hyped to see how this one's going to play out.
Yeah, 85% win rate versus Terran for Dewalt, 50% win rate versus Protoss for TerrOr, but you know, that's a 50% win rate versus the strongest of the strongest Protosses in BSL. So something like Bonneth, Dewalt, Boa, those calibers of players. So definitely no slouch in the win rate column for TerrOr and PvP. And our first map is going to be Retro, and let's get into game 1 of Dewalt versus TerrOr.
And spawning top left as the red Protoss, it is Dewalt.
Yep, and in the bottom right are Terran, it is TerrOr. And another thing about TerrOr is him and players like Dandy, they also like to go gasless expand, and if he does go gasless versus a cross spawn here, that could be a great opener for him.
Yeah, I mean, if he, it's good cross map because Protoss takes a while to get across the map with their like ranged dragoons and forces a lot of like repair, right? So is that kind of the reasoning?
Yeah, and also the Zealot takes like 10 more seconds to get across the map. I mean, it's a considerable amount of time for the Zealot to get across the map. So if you know, have, let's say, an additional Marine that you normally don't have, like, that just makes it even easier to defend the gasless, your gasless opener. So already I do like TerrOr's position if he does go for gasless. We still don't know. Dewalt could also go for 12 Nexus himself, right? He could just go for 12 Nexus, which I've heard has no counter. But we're not going to have the 12 Nexus here. It is just going to be Gate in the main.
Yeah, pretty standard, right? For Dewalt, like, just play a normal game, get into it, and, you know, kind of force your opponent to outplay you. I don't think that's such a bad option here for Dewalt. Also, that early gateway will add a lot of threats. Obviously, he can't know that it's cross map, but just a little bit of Zealot pressure can go a long way in this matchup.
Well, this is already great for TerrOr, because Dewalt is going Zealot pressure into gasless, which I already told you is going to be a good opener for him because it being cross spawn. So already TerrOr at a slight advantage. Of course, that's assuming the Zealot does no damage. If the Zealot gets in there and starts, you know, popping 1 or 2 SCVs, then all of that theory just goes straight down the drain. But when TerrOr does get in here and see that, hey, it's a cross spawn, he should be feeling pretty good. The probe is going to come in, though, and should spot that this is going to be a gasless expand.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get in here, see no gas here, or see the early command center, rather. Doing a little bit of harass on that scouting SCV, so it's not like TerrOr's not going to take 0 damage. But yeah, Marine getting on top of that early probe and being pushed back.
Well, these days, Terran players build their racks in the main, even if they are going for gasless, so that means that the SimCity at the natural just doesn't exist. I do like what TerrOr did here is he took the SCV off of the natural that was weakened, puts it onto the bunker for repair to build that. So now he's going to send that back to the main, and he'll have a full SCV actually building the command center. So there's really no threat of him losing SCVs here. Okay, actually bunker gets completed, and that means the Zealot is not going to be able to run by.
Yeah, as you said, everything just kind of seems to be working out for TerrOr here. This is a great, gasless expand, 2 probes being forced off the mineral line to deal with this SCV. We saw Dewalt kind of delay mine his gas in the main for quite some time there with just a single probe. Do you know why the case for that maybe?
Well, when he's got a gasless, he wasn't committed to a build yet, so he just pretty much went gasless himself, the gasless version of it for Protoss, 1 Zealot into Nexus. So you can see that his Nexus is, relatively even to the Terran Command Center. I think that's exactly what you should do in response. You don't want to be stuck with a 1 base versus gasless, because unless you do damage to Terran, you're just flat out behind. And we do see that Dewalt actually followed up with a 345 Robo, so that's 15 seconds faster than normal. If he does go straight Reaver, he could catch TerrOr before his turrets are up.
Yeah, that seems like a very fast Robo. That was like Robo before Goon or anything. Yep. That's crazy. Huh.
He still doesn't even have range going at all.
Yeah, that's, insane. Are you looking for... he was maybe... That kind of makes sense because he could just be going like a Zealot Reaver timing and doesn't really need the Dragoon range that early on? I don't know.
Yeah, I think by the time he gets range, the factory will be done, so no point to rush range. Also, Terran went gasless expand. Like, I realize TerrOr is the king of builds and can literally be doing anything, but you're not going Marine Medic versus Protoss, right? So you don't even need units because Terran just can't have anything just yet. So I'm surprised that he rushed Observatory. I thought for sure that he would go straight Reaver, but instead he wants to know what this guy's doing, and he rushes out a Knob.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fast OBS. That means Dewalt really won't be playing like hyper aggressive, at least not at first here early on. Do you think maybe he'll get a quicker third base?
I think that this could be a Citadel, actually. He's got his Nat Gas pretty quick, which I realize is normal because you delayed your main gas, and there is a Citadel. So this is going to be Observer. Could be DT drop, but really the Citadel is a little bit too slow for that. So I actually think this is 2 base Arbiter. I guess maybe technically it could be 3 base Arbiter because he did get his natural pretty quick. But this does signal to me this is, somewhere along the lines of 2 base Arbiter, technically maybe a 3 base Arbiter.
I see.
So there it is.
You called it. Stargate down. SCV being cleared out from the 12 o'clock location from Dewalt. And obviously, just with this build, though, the one thing is TerrOr is completely in the dark. He has no clue what he's facing.
Yeah, and TerrOr never got his Nat Gas. So this is like heavy minerals, low gas. This signals to me that this could be something like a 4-fact, because what are you going to transition into? Like, you gotta have gas to build factories, man. So you can't go like 6-fact, 7-fact. I like really the maximum I feel like he can support is maybe 5 factories. TerrOr built so many turrets with this also, and the Observer still gets in.
Wow, yeah, still gets in, still gets to see that tank count, unit count, armory. It's in such a key location here already.
But he sees the armory, 645 armory machine. That's off of the gasless opener. That means that all Terran could be doing, there's only 2 options. You're all-inning me with, like a 5-fact, or you're going to fast command center. He's in the mains, he sees there's only 2 factories. Well, I realize he sees the command center, but even if he didn't, it could only be a command center at this point. So this is just great intel for Dewalt.
The one thing that TerrOr kind of has going for him is the small squad of vultures out on the map, preventing, at least base being taken mid-left, so there's no way Dewalt's going to get double, like 2 bases ahead, or a base ahead at this point. It does take 12 o'clock, though.
Well, this build from TerrOr is actually pretty on point for what Dewalt's doing. When you're facing 2 base Arbiter, you really want to get a fast third base so you can just have big econ to contest, you know, the Protoss army that's just going to have, you know, a lot of arbors in the mid game and late game. So you just want to have a lot of stuff versus also you need a lot of stuff in case they go for a recall. So despite having a late academy, despite not getting great intel, this was a good response, and I like what Dewalt's doing behind this after going his 2-base arbor, after seeing the fast third base. He's like, you know what? Top middle, that's mine. Top right, also mine. So he's just going to double expand off of it.
Yeah, very nice. As you said, he just can't have any map control. The cat's out of the bag, right? Like, he scouted that third command center. He knows exactly what TerrOr's up to, and he can't have more than just a handful of vultures out on the map to really threaten much of anything. Ooh, he can get inside the top right, though, so at least the space will be scouted. Mines being placed on top of the ramp, and the probe that took top right does end up going down.
Yeah, this is like a... I mean, he does confirm top right, but he's going to lose all of his vultures here, and he killed one probe, so... I mean, maybe it's worth if he can save some of the vultures, but he doesn't, so... Not the biggest of deals. Dewalt's worker count 63, TerrOr's 63, so both players got big econ. I think I like Dewalt's position a little bit better, though, because his tech is more online compared to Terran's upgrades. Terran also still... I mean, they literally just have no production. He's at 3 factories right now. Supplies are pretty close, but I do like Dewalt's position a little bit better.
Yeah, I kind of do as well. Having that Arbiter out on the map, that's already a threat of recall. You know, could be a stasis. He's at least cleared out top right now. I guess that one pesky vulture's still there. But, yeah, he's just looking like he's in a pretty solid position.
Well, the problem for TerrOr is, despite having the fast natural, the fast third base, it's his armory timing. It was a 6:45 armory, so that means his +2, if he wants it, is going to be like 14 minutes. 14 minutes into a 2-base arbiter, Dewalt's going to have like at least 5 stasises. There's just going to be stasis galore all over the place, and that's just going to be so hard for TerrOr to dodge. Even if he lands an EMP, I mean, there's still probably going to be at least 3 more stasises left. So that's just going to be such a nightmare to deal with. And we know Dewalt's got insane macro, so even if he loses an army, he's going to have something like 20 gateways, be able to remax instantly. We also got double forge coming in, so by the time +2 kicks in for Terran, Protoss should also have 2-1, which is a great power spike for them.
Yeah, definitely, man. Huh. So, I don't know. If you're TerrOr, how do you kind of... How do you go about taking your next base or something?
I think all TerrOr can do is just accept reality, is that Protoss is most likely just going to be able to sit there, have their bases, slowly build up, you know, a massive Arbiter count. And I feel like he's just going to have to lay a lot of mines at his third base, lay a lot of mines in his main, and then try and take mid-right. Then also, once a recall comes in, hope that those mines deal a lot of damage so he can counterattack top right. Because I don't think the Vulture's going to do anything. I think Dewalt's just going to be careful, defend his top right position, and just nothing's going to happen until TerrOr gets his 2-1, which is 3 minutes from now.
One thing I noticed about this game is Dewalt's been so diligent about his scouting. Obs are just in all of the key locations for defense. So any vulture movement that happens out on the map, he is aware of.
Well, there were not as many goons as I thought at mid-right, and there are, what, 6 vultures left over, but he does not commit to the main, so will not lose any probes there. TerrOr's factory count is really good now. What's that, 9? So he's got massive production. Like, he's going to close the gap, 200 supply to 200 in, you know, about 30 seconds or so. But he doesn't have his +2 power spike. That's still far away. And we've got the Arbiter sitting and waiting for a recall. As soon as he sees Terran move out, recall's going into the main.
Yeah, absolutely. TerrOr, you know, he's a good Terran, obviously. He should expect this. He should start building up that defense inside the main. But, you know, that being said, I don't see a ton of mines, you know, in the right places defending factories and depots in the main. So this is a big threat here for TerrOr.
TerrOr's one of the best players in the foreign scene to lay mines, but this game he has completely forgotten. Also, his SimCity, the way his factories are placed, the SCVs are in the pathways for the units to come back. Okay, he fixes it, but how do you get into the main to stop this? Like, okay, well, you got a recall. Okay, there we go. TerrOr's in trouble. He's going to go for a counterattack, but you got to keep in mind, Protoss, even if they... No, Protoss, even if he loses his natural, let's say he loses his natural, Protoss is still going to have top right. So it's fine. The storms are great. I think that the factories are just going to die left and right, and TerrOr's just going to be stuck with this all-in.
Oh, no.
There's no detection!
TerrOr also not detecting, the center. Big damage going down from Dewalt in the middle of the map here. Still has not realized that, in fact, there's so many Dragoons on his tank force in the center of the map. And I mean, that recall in the main still doing devastating amounts of damage here to TerrOr.
Yeah, I mean, the way those tanks are just sieged in the middle of the map, it looks like it could be like broken, but you know, that can just happen sometimes. You have your tanks all on one hotkey, you just hit siege. Some of them are in the right position with the rest of your army. Some of them got stuck on something and they're just back there. And that's exactly what, you know, I thought was going to happen. Terran moves out, recall comes in, and you better have mine set up, because if you don't, that's exactly what happens.
Yep, you called it, man. You couldn't have said it better when you said TerrOr really needs to hope that a recall happens and he trades well with mines in his main, and then can counter top right. But unfortunately, you know, just a little bit of a misstep from the Champignon, and Dewalt taking game one there in pretty standard fashion, I'd say.
Yeah, it was just one of those games where TerrOr forgot to lay mines. I mean, I think that may be the first game that I've ever seen of TerrOr forget to lay mines, because he is generally very diligent about that. Like, that's just something he does all the time. He has maps in the center, mines in the center of the map. He's always got it at his third base and his main. I mean, Dewalt could have legitimately recalled anywhere, and there were no mines at any position. The third, natural, main, the entire main had no mines. So a bit of a slip up there, and TerrOr gets punished immediately. And now he's down 0-1 versus a player you don't want to be 0-1 against.
No, every single game counts against Dewalt. Every advantage you can get, you got to keep. You know, as you said, very unusual from TerrOr, right? Like, there's probably a bit of nerves, you know, for TerrOr in this matchup, right? Dewalt absolutely potential winner, you know, of this season's BSL, and I think he knows it. So, you know, you make one little mistake against a player like Dewalt, and he absolutely will capitalize on it. So, yeah, with that, at least it's going to be TerrOr's map choice going into the next game here. And actually, wow, I like this. It looks like TerrOr going to end up going with Apocalypse. Kind of a interesting map choice given how good Dewalt is with his aggressive drops mid-game, you know, whether it's Reaver or Zealot Bomb on top of Siege Tank timings. And Apocalypse proven to be a map that is difficult to hold those early drop timings. But still, you know, we'll have to see what the Champignon has in store here. Let's jump into game number 2 between Dewalt and TerrOr. And spawning bottom left as the blue Terran, it is TerrOr.
And in the bottom right, one game away, it is Dewalt. And Machine, I think this can only be one build from TerrOr. I think it's going to be Factory Expand, Starport, into TerrOr's 5 to 7 fact timing push. And the reason I say that, this map, designed for Dewalt, as you mentioned, great with drops, great with arbors, as you could see from last game. This map is also amazingly good for carriers. You do not want to get into a situation where you're fighting carriers on a ledge at every part of the map. So because of that, I feel like if TerrOr's picking this map, it's intended to go for some mega 2-base timing and just end the game.
Got you. I mean, that makes sense. I obviously mentioned how strong drops are on this map, you know. And as you mentioned, TerrOr is very good at his fact starport style of play with quick drops. So it makes sense to me, man. It adds up. Dewalt, though, obviously a pretty intelligent player, has met TerrOr countless times in the past. So you got to be at least thinking Dewalt has drops on his mind as well.
Okay, we've gotten an 11 gas from TerrOr. So this could be designed to punish a 12 Nexus opener, but we don't see that. We'll also obviously punish Fast Zealot. Like, the Zealot is just not going to do much damage at all. So a slight mix-up from TerrOr, and we do actually have more standard this time from Dewalt. He went for the normal gas timing.
Yeah, normal gas timing. Core already down. Just now starting to pull a few probes onto that assimilator. This is a map without a ramp, so maybe it kind of makes sense to get, a little quicker barracks and build an extra marine.
Yeah, because on maps like this or Silphid, you don't have anything to fall back on, like with your ramp, like you're talking about. So you want to get out the factory ASAP so you can deal with the Zealots with the Vulture. But we actually don't see a Zealot this game. I'm surprised Dewalt doesn't go for a Zealot pressure here, but either Zealot or not, it's fine to just play like this. Now Dewalt didn't scout at all, and I wonder what he's going to follow up with this extra econ that he's not supposed to. Okay, what's TerrOr doing? He's double scouting. This is going to be proxy something. He's still mining gas. This is a two-fact machine. Where's Arcosis when you need him?
Man, good old two-fact. You know how much I love this build.
Yeah, everybody loves the two-fact.
Yeah, it's a great build here. I mean, this is a do or die, so there's really no follow-up once a two-fact kind of fails. But that being said, it's also very uncommon, so there's a good chance Dewalt gets caught off guard here from it. And when you're playing against a player as strong as Dewalt, why not, right? Take a risk.
Yeah, well, we can see why he went for that 11 gas, because even though it only got him, a factory that's between 5 and 10 seconds faster, those 5 to 10 seconds are big deals. It could be the difference between having a completed goon and a not completed goon. And you do not want to have mines set up in an area where you can't contest because you don't have enough goons. So this could be a really strong game-ending move from TerrOr, or it could be Dewalt just slamming it. Either way, this game's going to end quickly.
I'm kind of starting to lean towards really strong timing. I mean, Dewalt's second Dragoon seemed quite delayed there. He's playing this very greedy, as we know. No probe scout. Dragoon only finally going and confirming the 3 SCVs at the natural. Trying to poke in there and check for a command center. I'm not sure if he was able to confirm that or not.
I think he got in deep enough, but it doesn't matter if he got in deep enough. It depends if he thinks he got in far enough to confirm that there's no command center. But now he knows, okay, you're going for an FD push. This is TerrOr. This is most likely not just an FD push. The Vulture is going to be running into the main.
Yeah,
he's laying mines!
Placed down at the natural. Yeah, that is a very fast mine timing. First mine falls, though. At least this Vulture will be cutting off the rally for these 2 Dragoons.
This was really good control from... He's going to kill the tank. If he kills the tank, this push is over. Oh, yeah, they stopped! Why did they stop? No, don't drag it in!
Oh! Both Dragoons going down. At least they get the tank for their efforts. And suddenly, it's up to TerrOr, man. He's still just pumping out Vultures with mines from 2 factories, fighting into a couple of gateways here. If he could trade this right, he still might be able to take this.
He doesn't need to save his natural right now. He knows that he killed the tank. No! The mine connects! Oh, that's brutal!
Yeah, that's devastating. You can't lose a single Dragoon in a situation like this. Oh, probes might even mess that Dragoon up and pull it into the mine.
Yeah,
it kind of looked like that was going to happen for a second.
Dewalt just needs to chill out. He saw that the Terran player was building Vultures as the follow-up to his tank. So that means that, it's going to be a long time before a tank is coming. All he needs to do is get out 4 goons plus Observer, and this push is denied.
Look how fast that Obs is from Dewalt, man. He is just going pedal to the metal here. And actually, that wall might have done it.
Yeah, I think this is over because the Vultures can't get in now. He should have 4 goons in just a second. I guess all that Dewalt needs to be worried about now is, okay, could you possibly go 2-fact 1 port?
Why move out with these 2 Dragoons? Huh.
Well, I think the problem is he doesn't want to get locked in. Because if you get locked in, you're in trouble. But yeah, now they're exposed. Okay, now he may lose these 2 goons. Look at the focus fire, though. He takes down that mine. Oh,
wow.
Oh, the control is sick! Kills every single mine without taking a single hit. Maybe he'll take one now, but he doesn't even take a hit! It's just absurd, insane, the micro!
Dude. He's insane, man. GG is called there.
Just taps out. It's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, impressive, man. I can't believe those 2 Dragoons didn't even get hit by mine. Like, I was like, oh, this feels like such a big mistake. You already hung on to your natural, like, just sit back. But man, it's because Dewalt's just greedy. He wants to eat everything, man. That was so cool to watch. And yeah, suddenly TerrOr going to be moving down to our losers finals match. With that, a very convincing 2-0 from Dewalt, and we have the champion of Group B already.
Yeah, and this is why you don't see 2-fact, man. Like, think about it. He lost his first 2 goons. Now, he did kill the tank and he did kill all the Marines, but he lost both goons, and you're telling me that he's able to hold with 6 probes and 1 goon to buy enough time to get his follow-up goons? I mean, that just tells you how weak the 2-fact is. Like, not that it couldn't have gone better for TerrOr, but it went pretty damn good, and it still didn't work. So,
yep.
Yeah, we'll be going into a break, and then we'll be back with our losers match, which is going to be a ZVZ, and this is going to be exciting because both players are quite aggressive, so don't go anywhere.
BSL 17 Group B. We just saw an incredible winners finals match between TerrOr and Dewalt, with Dewalt coming out on top. And next up, we get a whole other matchup. It's going to be a ZVZ between Messiah and Eon Zerg, and this is going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, and we know eOnzErG is insane with the lane control, insane with the muta control. But Messiah, when he took out Gypsy, looked like he had good muta control, but we haven't seen him play as ZVZ yet, so not too sure of his level of play in ZVZ. But if he's gonna take down someone like eOnzErG, it needs to be top notch because this guy definitely is up there in ZVZ skill along with Zeke and True Touch.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A true competitor. Eon Zerg has it all. Yeah, he's got the incredible muted control. Link control, I've already mentioned. I personally think he has the best Zerg link control, you know, which plays a big part in ZVZ, actually. So yeah, he's going to be a big threat here. Messiah, we don't know a whole lot about his ZVZ, but obviously muted control being so key. So as long as he has, you know, the mutas he's shown prior, it also should be a big threat here for Eon Zerg to deal with. And our first map going to be Retro, pretty standard 4-player map here for Zerg versus Zerg. Eon Zerg not really a player to get too fancy with his ZVZ. He just plays the standard builds and plays them well. And you know, it's kind of that stability and you know, standardness that can make you a pretty big threat in this matchup. But yeah, with that, both of our players are ready to go, folks. So let's jump into game 1 on Retro between Messiah and Eon Zerg. And spawning top right as the red Zerg, we have Eon Zerg.
And in the blue, our Chinese Zerg, it is Messiah. Alright, Machine, let's assume that Messiah is an unknown. I realize we've got the seawall.gg site now, so we can find replays, but let's just think, okay, this guy's an unknown to me. What would be your opener versus someone you have no idea how they play?
You know, part of it's the map, but let's just say, typically if I'm trying to feel somebody out, you know, something like a 12 pool expand can always just be a great go-to in the Zerg vs Zerg matchup. Even 9 pool layer, you know, is something you kind of play around with, play your way out of. But we don't have to guess. It looks like it's going to be a 9 pool here from Eon Zerg to kind of start things off versus a 9 pool as well from Messiah. 9 pool, you know, gas, a very standard staple build in this matchup. Likely, you know, there's options here for either a quick Zergling speed timing, but more often than not, it's standard quick layer to obviously get to those very important Spire and Mutalisk, which are just a key unit in this matchup.
Yeah, it's not often you get to see 9 pool versus 9 pool. What I'm waiting to see is either one going to go for lair, is somebody going to go for pool? Because you can get into this weird dynamic, one person has speed, one person doesn't, and you know, the person with the speed, well, they better do something because that's just 100 gas. You can't recover, you're just permanently down 1 Mutalisk. We are approaching 100 gas for both, and there's the speed upgrade for Messiah and speed for Eon Zerg. So legitimately mirrored builds across the board.
I'll tell you what's not mirrored is this Overlord Scout here from Messiah. Seeing an Overlord scouting, you know, getting the first Overlord Scout in this matchup is massive. Once this Overlord runs in there, if he's able to see the lair in time or not, it might be able to give him a key of at least how many Zerglings are moving out. Oh, and actually we see Messiah moving across the map with his first 4 lings. This looks like he's going for some type of speed link counterplay. Meanwhile, though, we already know Eon Zerg going for speed as well might be able to just overwhelm this ramp, and yes, that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, he just walked in. Okay, but there's going to be 4-lane counterattack into Eon Zerg's base, so we're going to get into a weird predicament right now. Actually, a couple of lings of Eon Zerg spotted those lings running into the main, so he turns around, but there's 5 lings of Eon Zerg at the other side of the map. The rally point is bad for Messiah.
Yeah, Eon Zerg, man, I told you, best Zergling control. He will just trade efficiently every single time. He is a monster to deal with in this matchup, and he's proving it. Grabbing some drones and taking the first lead in this series.
Yeah, he's up 2 workers. With mirrored builds, he's just flat out up 2 workers. So this is just a really tough position for Messiah to come back from. And also, he lost mining time on his gas. So he's just going to be permanently down gas. He'll never be able to catch up in Mutalisk. I don't think he can even catch up. Like, I don't even think he can have overwhelming amounts of lings now. So what do you do as Zerg in this position?
You hope you could slip some units by at some point and find a way to even it up. That's all you can do, man. It is a cutthroat matchup. You know, there could be no remorse here for these Zerglings. And yeah, not only is Eon Zerg up in workers, he's up in lings, man. He just is running straight at Messiah here.
Yeah, look at that. Messiah snuck in 1 drone, and you're going to get... Actually, snuck in 2 drones because he built his Spire, and you're just dead. You're just punished immediately, bro. That Spire is going to die.
Yep, guaranteed at this point. Eon Zerg still, though, trading efficiently versus the lings. Spire dies, and Messiah forced to tap out. Game 1, very quick game 1, going to Eon Zerg here.
Yeah, when I saw the 4 lings run by, I was like, wow, that's a good idea. But the problem is he never got the 6 lings onto the ramp. I thought if he got the 6 lings on the ramp, I was worried that Eon Zerg was just going to keep rallying across and then miss the 4-ling counterattack. But Eon Zerg, on top of it, he saw the opening like we stated before the series even started. Like, if he sees an opening, he's going to exploit it, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, that was with Messiah getting first Overlord Scout and everything, which I already was saying is so key in this matchup. It's not like he didn't know Eon Zerg wasn't going to just attack him with a bunch of lings, right? I mean, either get on the ramp or get a sunken down in the main. Either would have possibly been a win condition there for Messiah, but Eon Zerg, just as we said, man, he capitalizes. He is go, go, go. He shows off that incredible Zergling control that he has, and he took a very quick game 1 here against Messiah. So
yeah.
With that, yeah, it's going to be Messiah's map choice at least. So we'll see what he picks here.
Yeah, I don't know what I would pick versus... Eon Zerg. If you pick a 2-player map, then you have to deal with both players having intel. I don't know if I would feel like I could out-Mutamicro Eon Zerg or out-Ling Micro Eon Zerg. So I think in that sense, you may just be reliant on maybe pick Apocalypse. Maybe you're the one that gets the good scout. Maybe you can sneak like a 12 hatch versus a 12 pool. So I think if I was Messiah here, I'd pick one of the bigger maps.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad option, right?
Uh-oh.
But actually, as he said, man, he's actually going to pick the 2-player map. And, you know, still quite a bit of rush distance on this map. I still see 12 hatch here from time to time. But yeah, we'll have to see what Messiah has in store, folks. Let's jump into game number 2 between Messiah and Eon Zerg. And spawning top left as the blue Zerg from China, it's Messiah.
Yep, and in the bottom right, we've got Eon Zerg 1 game away from making it into the Deciders match.
Yeah, I don't know. Game 1, pretty standard. Both players actually choosing the exact same opener, which is 9 pool speed. As I said, it's a less common opener. So, of course, a little bit of that commentary curse kind of kicking in there. But, yeah, we'll have to see how both these players choose to kind of adjust for a game 2. Personally would like to see some kind of expo play on this map.
Well, we've got Overlord from both, and actually I was expecting it to be the same build from both sides, because if I was Messiah there, you know, game kind of just was over once the lings ran in, right? And I'd be thinking to myself, well, you know, if he doesn't run in 4 lings into my base immediately, you know, maybe the game could have been more normal, but actually has decided he wants to go for a mix-up. Neither player ended up going for overpool either. So we've got either 12 pool or 12 hatch for both sides.
We're seeing a drone pulled out at 11 supply here from Messiah. I do see 11 hatchery from time to time. I'll be honest, I don't know what it's really supposed to hold a little better against, but I do see it occasionally. You know, like 11 hatch versus 12 hatch, I feel like it might as well just be the same build. Personally.
Yeah. Well, we've got 12 pool from Eon Zerg. and this seemed like build order win for Messiah. If I was playing ZVZ, I would definitely be feeling really good that I got away with the 12 hatch.
I'll tell you, I never go 12 hatch, and 100% of the time, whenever I go 12 pool, the
Yeah.
opponent always goes 12 hatch, and it's so rage-inducing. We're seeing Eon Zerg though.
Whoa.
This is so smart. Oh my gosh, this is gonna pay off because this is just one of those weird cases where Messiah now thinks, okay, I've gone hatch first. I just need to like hold my natural and I'll be fine here, right? They'll likely go Ling speed. If Eon Zerg can trick him into thinking that this is just one base Zerg play, which this absolutely looks like, he can kind of capitalize a little bit. We're only seeing 4 Lings out even from Eon Zerg.
Yeah, this
Stacking
could be
gas.
This could be a slick idea. The thing that I'm thinking about now though is that the Overlord's gonna get in, and you know these days we've got game timer. So when the Overlord gets in here and he sees the lair finish at let's say 4 minutes. You know, I don't play ZVZ, I'm just throwing out a number. Let's say it completes at 4 minutes. You know, 4 minutes is not going to be the same time a 9 pool lair would have finished. So I wonder if he'll figure out that, hey, your lair's late, dude, but you're only showing this, something's up.
Yeah, maybe. If I was Messiah here, I'd be assuming this is some kind of overgas play. I think that's what it's meant to look like, but lair is delayed, and there's no way of hiding that because there is an Overlord in the main. Still, though, we are seeing Messiah just move straight across the map, not towards the third base. He's not scouting out, looking for any hidden Zerglings here or anything like that. He assumes this is one base play, so it's looking like it's going to pay off here for Eon Zerg.
Well, see, the problem is that the lair timing for both players are going to be identical, but Messiah doesn't realize at all. Like, if he drones at all, he's dead. But so far, he's not droning. He is just continuing to build Lings for some reason.
He does have a 2-drone advantage. And it looks
Oh,
like
he knows.
Zerg...
Look, he knows, dude. He's like, dude, something's up. Why is his Overlord going... Well,
I think it's just kind of pulling it back. But yeah, if he's paying attention, he'll see some creep here at least.
Yeah, well, Eon Zerg, he better do something with these Lings. And he does. Right now, he's going to try and get out of his base. Ooh,
nice
good reaction
round.
good reaction from Messiah to not lose anything there.
Yeah, great reaction. Oh, does actually get captured, though. Eon Zerglings, man, they're so strong.
Yeah, and Messiah did build drones, by the way, because now he's got 14 drones, and he's building a Sunken, so he built 2 additional drones.
If he can stall till the Sunken and use drones here, there is a chance. And we see the flanking drones coming in here, blocking, using the Sunken, but actually Eon Zerg getting the surface area he needed to just tear down these Zerglings and drones here. Sunken falls, and I see constant red rallying across the map here.
Yep, and that Spire is exposed. He just taps out again. There it is, Eon Zerg. In his return to BSL, he's going to push out Messiah in the round of 16, and he'll be moving on into our losers match deciders match, actually, against TerrOr.
Yeah, unfortunately for Messiah there, he had the winning build, but not quite able to make that read of the hidden hatchery at the third. I think that was some pretty cute play there from Eon Zerg to go ahead and secure that game number 2, man. He's like a terror in the fact that he's got a lot of different builds he tends to work with, and yeah, kind of showing off something a little different there against Messiah, and it ends up being exactly what you need to win. But with that, we actually are down to our final series here of this Group B. It's going to be the Champion, TerrOr, facing off against Eon Zerg. And game 1, Nyoken, we're finally going to get to see that shooting break.
Yeah, you can't avoid this map this time around, boys. You're going to have to play the new map of BSL. But before we get to see that map, we're going into a break, and we'll be back with the final series of the day.
Hello and welcome back everyone to BSL 17 Group B. We are at our final series of the day here. It's going to be the losers finals between Eon Zerg and TerrOr, man. And this is going to be an exciting one for us.
Yep, this is going to be a tough match for both sides. This is the heartbreaking part of the round of 16 in this group, because you had 4 players that were amazing, 3 of them former champs, and unfortunately, one's got to go. The question is which one is it going to be? Is it going to be a Terran? Is it going to be a Zerg? But I am happy to see that we're going to finally get a map on Shooting Break. You know, I've thought about maps like Shooting Break, where you have this extra gas. Do you want to commit a hatchery or a command center or whatever to get that third gas? Is it worth the 400 minerals to you? Because we've had mineral onlys for a long time, but we've never had a map where you're legitimately committing 400, 300 minerals just to mine the gas.
It's an interesting thought. You know, it's, I think, a no-brainer for Zerg, right? Like, you're going to have macro hatcheries eventually in any matchup anyway. Like, you definitely should be utilizing the third gas. The big question mark is going to be, like, what does TerrOr commit to something like this? My guess is not much, really, other than taking the standard natural positioning, at least initially. But you know, who knows? Because we don't get to see a map like this very often, there's plenty to be learned about it. You know, Eon Zerg has a very hyper aggro style, so I would not be surprised to see him go for some type of mid-game mass muta timing. Could be lurker even. Another thing to note is that the rally point on this map, because of that extra minerals, can kind of be something you really need to manage well. So I'm kind of interested to see, what both these players, have in store or planned for this map, just because it is so unique.
Yeah, so we are ready to get to game 1. So let's do that right now. TerrOr versus Eon Zerg.
And spawning top right of Shooting Break. As the blue Zerg, we have Eon Zerg.
Yep, and in the bottom left, we've got our red Terran. It's TerrOr. And if TerrOr's going to be pulling out a 2-fac versus Dewalt, I'm actually thinking like TerrOr may pull out his patented Vulture opener into 3 racks Marine Medic, use the Vultures to soak up the sunken hits, and go for a sunken bust, because you do not want to play versus a Zerg that just instantly has 3 gas. You're in for a rough time. So I think we could see some type of shenanigans from TerrOr to try and just end the game quickly. And as I say that, there goes that SCV.
Yeah, we've seen this plenty of times today, man, already. TerrOr's patented 8 racks opener. It is such a problem, even if you know it's coming. I will say, I was just going to say, he is the kind of Zerg that will go pool first, though. You got to watch out for it, and man, was it the right call here. Oh man, eOnzErG, I love it, man. He's playing the player. He's not playing the matchup. He's not someone who's just going to get stuck into doing things for certain ways because that's how it should be done, man. He knows exactly who he's up against, and he's trying to get an advantage here, man. He's going to get one.
Yep, 9 pool is going to be the perfect opener versus this 8 racks. 8 racks is going to do 0 damage. In fact, TerrOr may not even go across the map if he can scout fast enough and see that this is going on. And look at this. This is a cross-map scout. And so he scouts the center, and he's going to find TerrOr first. So what could be a really interesting move is if he builds 6 lings. I guess he doesn't need to hide them off to the side because, the SCV is going to be there. But if he just runs to the center, avoids the SCV somehow, maybe he could just go for a counterattack while these Marines are on the wrong side of the barracks.
Yeah, very possible here. But, TerrOr not being greedy with this either. He is sending in a double SCV scout, so there will at least be a couple SCVs and a couple Marines to fight. And yes, confirms that Ling move out. Marines immediately pulled back, and SCV trying to draw fire and attract some of these Zerglings to prevent any pressure to zone natural.
Well, I don't think that these Lings should do much damage at all. I actually didn't notice that there's a gap at the bottom, so the SCV can get back. So it's going to be 4 Marines out by the time these 6 Lings get across the map. Okay, well there's a gap.
2 gaps. Oh,
well,
second SCV not in position, but still, yeah, Marines strong.
Yeah. 4 Marines are a big break point versus just 5 Lings, so that was not the move that you wanted to do as Zerg. These Lings are also very low health. They're not going to be able to run around and get any damage done anywhere.
And it looks like this will be a command center opener here from TerrOr.
I guess at least he confirms what the follow-up is. You see there's no tech, so he knows it has to be command center follow-up. So even though he does lose all of his Lings, I guess he can at least find solace in that he knows at least what Terran's doing.
Yeah, at least you say that, and I don't see any Zerglings scouting out. Oh, there is a sunken going down at the natural, though. So this Marine move out from TerrOr, I'm assuming, won't get much done. But we'll see.
Well, we'll see, because this is still 5 Marines, man, and the sunken is not that close to finish. Okay, that's not the move that you wanted as TerrOr. He moves his Marines in, and what was a gift from Zerg to Terran gift from Zerg to Terran ends up being a gift back to Zerg, and that means that TerrOr loses all of his Marines for pretty much free.
Yeah, I just kind of had that feeling. Once there's a sunken in play, man, it's tough for Terran to really trade efficiently without any medics. So yeah, nice pickup there from eOnzErG. Maybe tipping this game back a little more in his favor. See a good drone count actually from Eon Zerg, 17 to the 18 SCVs of TerrOr. TerrOr getting that +1 weapons on his eBay. And this is what I was talking about. Sometimes the mining can just be a little odd on this map. So it looks like at least they will move through the eggs. And but yeah, you don't see that every day, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is a interesting dynamic here. The natural is really bad for Terran, actually. Like, you can see that if he builds a comsat, it actually walls him in on that side. So if mutas get into a good position on the top side of the command center, they might just reign supreme forever. Like, I just don't see how you get Marines up there. What are they going to do, go through the SCV mineral line? You know the SCVs are just going to block each other. So this seems like it could be already a good spot for Eon Zerg.
If you're TerrOr, I'd like to see him tear down a couple of the eggs behind the mineral line just to allow some movement behind, you know, that natural there. Maybe to defend against Lurker Drop or defend against Muta as the game gets moving on. Oh, he does build a comstat and actually pushed a Marine over a building. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yep, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. The full wall, pretty much. Like, if you're playing somebody like 9 Drone on ladder, right? The guy that only goes mutas the entirety of the game, you are in mega trouble. So we'll see if Eon Zerg actually transitions off of mutas. It wouldn't shock me if he doesn't, because this just looks like such a great setup. We do have +1 weapon about to be done for TerrOr, so he's going to have good power spike. He's got 4 racks coming in.
Does scout the Spire. I don't know if the scan caught the tail end of that Evo chamber or not, but we know it is going to be an Evo chamber as well. This is making me think Mass Muta, Ling, maybe even into Ultra, something like that. I don't know. There's not infinite space at this natural, though, for Sunkens. And obviously this third base of Eon Zerg looks a little exposed if it is to be scouted.
Yeah, we've got turrets coming up. See how effective these are. The Marine count is not that big. It's, what, 10 or so?
Yeah, about 10-ish, maybe 12. A couple medics as well. Stim did go out, so Eon Zerg are at least drawing some of the HP off of those Marines.
Yep, so we're just going to have a standoff here. Mutalisk needed one more to get rid of that medic. Actually took a lot of damage there going in for that move, so Eon Zerg does need to be careful, because if that happens 1 or 2 more times, that could backfire in pretty quickly.
Did at least force a stim, so it's not like Marines are doing this all for free. But yeah, Mutalisks are being built here. Queen's Nest inside the main. Was that did he scan? Nope, just scan the natural again. So really, TerrOr doesn't have, it seems like, doesn't have much of a clue about top left.
Yep, he has no idea. The Hive coming with the Evolution Chamber makes me think that it's going to be Ultras. I still think it could be for just, you know, Muta Hydra Ling, but maybe not. +1's done for Terran. Should be starting his... Okay, well, now that Mass Sunkens are coming... Well, there's a Hydra Den also, so maybe not.
Huh. Yeah, that is kind of odd. You know, normally you see the Hydra Den go up a little earlier if it is Lurker, but it was actually Evo Chamber into Hydra Den here. Still, I don't think a bad choice. I think it's... Lurker's going to be fine here, right?
Yeah, they'll still be useful, but he's not upgrading Lurkers, and he's not upgrading his Hive. So he needs to get on top of either one of those, if not both of them. Because Marine Medic just doesn't generally die to only Mutalisk.
Man, I feel like he's missed a few opportunities here to pick off some stray Marines. This is 11 Muta. 11 Muta are scary.
Yeah, you gotta do something with the Mutas. Like, you can't just patrol around with the Mutalisk and not get any damage done. And there we go. He picks off, what was that, 3 Marines or so? Keeping Terran at bay, but he's building so many Sunkens with this. I mean, it has to be Ultralisk now. You're never building this amount of Sunkens with... Well, wait a minute. There's still no Hive.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. I think he thought he built it, to be honest with you. And he did have the resources for it at one point or another. But yeah, as you said, with no Hive, that means no Ultras, no Defiler, or anything like that on the way soon. but at least he has the Sunkens, right? The creep colonies. This game will continue on. I don't think that TerrOr is breaking that amount of Sunkens yet. And wow, big pickup once again here from Eon Zerg on these small groups of rallying bio.
Yeah, the Marines are doing a good job though to deal a lot of damage to the Mutalisk. It's 5 Sunkens at top left, like 8 Sunkens at top right. Finally, the Hive comes down. Surprisingly, I don't think missing the Hive is a big deal, because I still think he would have gone Ultralisk anyways, and he's probably waiting for the +4 power spike, which takes a long time. But if he was going for Defiler, well, yeah, he's in trouble, because the tank push is coming, and his Defiler mound would be his Mega Light. No, he can't do that! He cannot do that!
Yeah, can't do that, man. Zerg lives and dies by these mutas. And with that, yeah, there's definitely a big threat of timing now with these siege tanks.
Well, if he spots the tanks, and because of how much he's missed his Hive, he may actually be obligated to go into Guardians, because I don't see how you can stop this without Defiler or Guardian or Ultras. And he spots the tank. I think now eOnzErG's only option is go Guardians. I think that's the only way that he can actually stop this push. Of course, TerrOr could lose his tank in the middle of the map, but with Irradiate coming out soon, I think it's going to be really hard for eOnzErG to make that snipe with his Mutalisk.
TerrOr not really the kind of player to make a big mistake like giving away some free siege tanks either. I mean, he's going to make eOnzErG work for it here. Yeah, this is just so much Terran. I mean, look at the amount of bio here with these 3 tanks.
Yep, 3 tanks. That's a lot of firepower. It is going to be Ultras. The Ultras cavalry's not come yet.
Vessel died though.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you got the Vessel. That's great.
He's got
but
a nice Irradiate. Wow.
Yeah, that's the only Irradiate though. So if there was Guardians here, he could hold with Guardians. But he only has 10 damaged Mutalisk. You're just not going to be able to kill this.
Oh man. Yeah, this is going to be painful. Another Muta falling as well. Siege tanks coming in here. There is a SCV repairing.
Okay. That's what eOnzErG needed right there. Pick off one of them. There's still 2 left, though.
It was Ultras, as you stated. Nidus Canal morphing inside the main here, but I'm kind of with you, man. If that was a Greater Spire, I think he's already making 5 Guardians, and this timing fails.
Okay, or he can just kill 2 tanks with his Mutalisk. The +1 weapon Muta is dealing a lot of damage.
How does he do it, man? He makes it look so easy.
Oh, the tank went down mid-move! He got all 3 tanks! And now that he's gotten all 3 tanks, all of a sudden eOnzErG's in a great position.
You kidding me, man? How did he find that opening? That is unbelievable. I mean, I thought eOnzErG was just about to lose. All 3 tanks made it across the map. And third base, at least, finally scouted here and 4th. From eOnzErG, so we'll have to see if TerrOr chooses to reposition, maybe push that base instead.
Yeah, if TerrOr had known about top left, and let's say he knocked down even 1 of the Sunkens, he probably could have just busted through with just Marine Medic. But now, I think eOnzErG has bought enough time where he'll have Ultralisks that are upgraded in time to help defend. The Vessel is going to get sniped before the Irradiate goes off.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, if you can keep just destroying the Vessel count of Terran, what can they do, right? He can't really engage into this amount of Sunkens. Even if he did, we already know there's some Ultralisks in the wait, just preparing to kind of jump on this bio. Does pick off a few additional Marines. It's like a couple more Sunkens are being morphed to maybe buy some time for some additional Ultras here.
Well,
Sunkens get a few shots.
This can be annoying. I can already see it now. I can see, the Sunkens on the left side dying, eOnzErG feeling like, oh, I gotta attack, and then they funnel in one by one. I can just see it now, Machine. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Oh, well, those need to get out of their base and help out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got the Nidus in the main. The Ultras are there. So it's not like he can't. I think he's actually tried to flank with those Ultras, and the Sunkens...
He's waiting for speed.
Blocked.
Oh no, he got locked in! Those Sunkens... No! This is not what you wanted to happen! He's moving in with 5 Ultras when he has like 10!
Yeah. TerrOr gonna capitalize on that. and these Ultralists gonna just wreck this. Unfortunately, yeah,
No!
those 3 Ultralists just kind of stuck behind that Nidus and Sunken there.
This is literally what I just said. They funnel in one by one, except the Sunken walled in three Ultras. Now we've got 4 Ultras coming from the top. There were 2 at the bottom, but they're not in sync. So these Ultras all just die instantly. Look at supplies.
Yeah, can't really recover from that from Eon Zerg, unfortunately. And GG is called there. Game 1 going to TerrOr when I really thought Eon Zerg had a nice build, you know, considering the map. But man, the Champignon just too strong.
10 Ultras, man. They had +4 armor. If they just all get in there instead of 5 at 5 and then 3 and then 2. I feel like the army just gets eviscerated. There was no D-Matrix, there was no Irradiate, there's 3 tanks that don't have any upgrades. Really, tanks deal decent damage still. But why? Why? That's again another one of those games where you're not happy. You're just like, are you serious, Blizzard? This is how I lose? Oh my gosh. Eon Zerg, I feel like he had it. And again, you can't give wins to people like this. Dewalt or TerrOr, you just can't do it.
Nope, man. TerrOr's gonna capitalize 100% of the time, every time, man. It was cool though. Like, I really liked the build from Eon Zerg. Had a lot of potential. I still kind of would have liked to see, you know, 5 Guardians or something like that. I think would have crushed the push. He wouldn't have even had to control the Muta as well as he did. But you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. With that, at least it's going to be Eon Zerg's map choice. There's plenty of great maps, you know, to kind of choose from in this map pool. And yeah, we'll have to see how he chooses to respond.
Well, this is the last life for Eon Zerg, and he's decided that he's going to risk it on Apocalypse. I think this is a good map for Zerg. The Cliffs are definitely a map that was made for Eon Zerg, who's got great Muta control. Let's see if he can do it as we get into Game 2.
Spawning bottom left of Apocalypse as the red Zerg, it is Eon Zerg.
And in the mid right, 1 game away, it's TerrOr.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of 8-Raxes today out of TerrOr. Is this a good map for 8-Rax?
So these maps don't really have great walls. You can still go for a full wall, but you got to be innovative with your wall positioning. The only good place to wall is bottom left. And we do see an 8-Rax. Okay. Well, we'll see, because you can see on the left side that there's a gap there.
Yeah.
It is hard to, you know, wall that off, but we'll see what he comes up with. We do see Eon Zerg's not going for a 9-pool this game. If he was to go for a 9-pool, overpool, 12-pool, all those would be great versus what TerrOr's going for.
Yeah, this is, I mean, even last game, there was a gap in the wall. It just didn't quite pay out there for Eon Zerg, you know, with the 5-lane run by. Here, as you said, you know, it's going to be tough to wall. You know, he's going to need to make sure he has those additional SCVs kind of plug any holes. But, I mean, his 8-Rax has just proven to be so strong for these Zergs, man.
Yep, and oh, easy Eerie. Thank you for the massive tip, man, as we get closer and closer to the goal of BSL 18. Even though there is a gap between that depot and Rax, and when you go for the 8-Rax, like last game, he could potentially have 4 Marines, and even though there's a gap, I think 4 Marines just shut down 6 lanes. So this ends up being a fine map, even with the gap on the left side for this particular opener.
For sure. We're seeing the first Marine move across the map. Does get scouted by that drone scout, though. Drone takes quite a bit of damage, but with that, Eon Zerg looks like he's going to cancel that plan to take his gas and going to look to get out on the map with some drones here.
Yep. And luckily for Eon Zerg, he did scout TerrOr, so he knows what's coming. He doesn't get to see what the follow-up is, if it's gas or not. Remember, we've seen him go gas in most of the games, but this time around, it's again not going to be a gas follow-up. Drones are trying to just cut off reinforcements. That's the whole goal here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with this flank. Remember, he can mine back to his main here. And actually, he's doing a really good job surrounding these Marines. These Marines are in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's about as perfect as it can go. He's going to take down both Marines, lost only one drone, 2 drones. That's still fine. TerrOr needs to get at least one more drone, and I think he's good. Okay, he's going to get the 3rd drone. So that's worth at this point. But TerrOr does lose 1 SCV, and he's going to lose all 3 Marines. Actually, TerrOr's rallying across the map. He's got to be careful with that.
Wow, eOnzErG even just ignoring that initial Marine. There we go. And suddenly, as you said, that gap in the wall going to come into play here. TerrOr better be, prepared to kind of wall off with some SCVs here. 2 Marines being caught. Those are dead.
Oh, yeah, they're dead. Okay, that's a good body block. The Marine should be able to get out on the right side. But, of course, his buddy pops out and says, nope, you cannot be saved. And there was actually a gap.
No. Oh, my gosh. Still, though, nice job from TerrOr to kind of hang on here. He will have enough minerals to start a command center at the natural, and although things look pretty good for eOnzErG there, I still think this is a very playable position for TerrOr.
Oh yeah, this is definitely playable, and the fact that eOnzErG builds the Sunken as a follow-up, that hurts him a little bit more. If we look at the worker count, though, 17 workers to 19, this is still a good position for eOnzErG. He had to build the Sunken because he doesn't know what the follow-up is. I think he could have actually maybe deciphered what it was because of how many Marines there were, but in the spur of the moment, you just got to go with what your gut tells you. But overall, it seems like we're going to stabilize at this point and just go into a normal mid-game.
Yeah, we're seeing that drone count rise and rise here. 20 drones already to the 21 SCVs of TerrOr. You got to say eOnzErG is in the stronger position at the moment. Layer on the way. Looks like it's about halfway done here. We're not seeing a Hydroden or anything abnormal yet, so likely going to be just standard 2-hatch muta. Actually, 2.5 hatch. Nyoken, I'm seeing a lot more 2.5 hatch plays in general amongst top-tier Zergs at the moment. Do you know why that is?
No, I don't know why. I'm sure it's just because it just gives you additional larvae. You also get out, 7 mutas at once? So you can just really start one-shotting those SCVs, harass them a little bit better. But yeah, I also have noticed that 2.5 hatch has been really making a resurgence. And now at this point, eOnzErG should know that, hey, you can't be going vultures or mech or anything like that. That's way too many Marines to have been built off of one barracks.
Yeah, that absolutely is, and hopefully eOnzErG able to kind of sniff that out. Medic already done though. This could prove to be still a scary-ish timing for eOnzErG to prepare for. Even if TerrOr kind of fakes it, he might be able to force an extra Sunken or 2 here off the 2 extra drones being removed from that mineral line could make a big difference.
Just looking at that work count, 27 to 25 in favor of eOnzErG. So unless TerrOr can get damage done with this Marine medic, eOnzErG fans should be feeling really good about the position he's in. He's got his Spire coming in just a second. He's got good econ. He's got a hidden base, LZ Gamer. He's here in 2023. There's no way that's getting scouted.
Yeah, no way. That's about the last base on the map I'd ever scout as Terran.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you wish the Terran was Artosis just so you could see the chat as he scans it at the 30-minute mark as it's already mined out.
Turrets going down inside the main here. Overlord moving into position over that natural, trying to key out any vulnerable positions with no turrets.
Well, we're going to have the move out. Here we go. And even if TerrOr scans, I don't think there's really anything unusual to him that says to him, like, well, you should have another hatch somewhere. Like, okay, well, now at this point, if you're going to have that many Sunkens and there's no evolution chamber, you know, maybe he'll be able to find this base. But yeah, it's going to be a counter in the main. There's only one turret, and the Marines are all out onto the map, so this could deal a lot of damage. But if eOnzErG wants to do damage, he's got to go now.
Yeah, definitely got to go, and we see him going for it. He jumps onto this mineral line here, getting in good position already, finding that hole where those mutas can hide and just continue to pick off SCVs. Oh, medics continuing to walk forward here, but actually they will go and regroup back up with that Marine count.
5 Sunkens, no evolution chamber. I would be skeptical if this is all I saw in Zerg's base. So if I was TerrOr, I think he should branch off a Marine, try and scout everywhere on the map, because this really does look like we're approaching hidden base status. We're actually seeing eOnzErG has nothing at top right. He hasn't made any use of the larva up there. Okay, there we go. Those must be drones. He could actually hide lurkers up there and, you know, set up a he is! He could set up a hold position lurkers that will never get scouted.
You should be a Zerg player.
I should be.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do with the placement of that hatchery. Very good call, I'd say. Something you're not used to seeing, but man, it's a strong play here.
Well, he's building more and more hiders up there, and that makes me think he's actually going to go for an attack. This is not just going to be for hold lurkers. I think this could be, oh, you're moving out again? I'm just going to counterattack you with 5 lurkers and try and end the game. But if the thing for me with this is he doesn't have a lot of larva up there to like buffer for the lurkers. Like, he's not going to have any lings up there with it, I can't imagine. So it's just going to be 5 lurkers plus these 7 mutas.
Also, I mean, he's putting himself on a timer, right? It's not like drones are being made up there, where had he chosen to go into drones, he could be taking a 3rd gas already. He could have some additional mineral mining. So this is very much, a decision that needs to pay off in one way or another.
Well, okay, I forgot that he's got Hive, so all he needs is 1 Defiler to pop out on that side of the map, and he could have the orange cloud push to victory.
Yeah, very true. He's already got so many Sunkens at the natural. I don't think that's getting breached anytime soon.
Oh my god. Wow. Look at that. Starport's not even done, dude.
That's insane. No 2nd gas either from TerrOr. He's just kind of content with sitting back and defending at the moment. Defiler Mound done. Consume underway. No Nidus quite yet. I wonder if he doesn't want to build a Nidus as a mind game to make TerrOr think he doesn't have a 3rd.
He could do that. I also noticed in TerrOr's main that his factory has an add-on, but his starport's going to wall in his tanks. Yeah, there we go. It's got to lift it off.
Ooh, almost picking off a medic there. TerrOr kind of full committing to this muta defense at the moment. Keeping a group of Marines inside the main. And here we go. Getting some shots off. Might be able to pick off a free depot here. Actually, a little bit of a misrally, but he does grab an SCV there. Does lose 1 muta, though.
Yep, does lose a muta. There's the Nidus. And he needs the Nidus because he needs lings to help get him energy. Where is the... Oh, it's actually at the 3rd right there. Or the 3rd hatch, I mean. And it is connecting, and we are going to see a bust in just a second. There we go.
Yeah, this is going to be so strong. I actually don't know. I mean, TerrOr's he's pulled back too far.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, TerrOr's confused. Like, dude, your evolution chamber's late. I've scouted a lot of the bases. You don't have a base. You've got Sunkens. You're not attacking me. I haven't seen a single lurker. What the hell's going on?
This is so many lurkers, too, at that 3rd base. TerrOr frantically scanning around the map, looking for anything that could give him a sign of what's going on here.
He missed the Nidus also. Like, and also the mutas are in the main like they're anticipating a drop. So there's nothing that shows you that this is coming. He has no vessel, by the way. So there's no counterplay.
Here we go. Marines do see the Defiler moving into the natural here, but yeah, no vessel, as you said. Great Dark Swarm to kind of kick things off here. 1 lurker, 2 lurkers getting targeted down, but look at the placement of that swarm.
Doesn't matter if there's only 1. That's all you need, Machine, is you need only 1. 1 orange cloud, 1 lurker, That's all it takes.
Yep. Man, second lurker getting under the Dark Swarm here, and there's just nothing. There's just nothing for this.
Yeah, there's no fire rats either, so there's just actually nothing that does damage. Now TerrOr's going to see, oh my god, you took the LZ gamer base. He's going to try and cut off reinforcements. He may actually be able to stall the game, but he still has no way to kill the natural.
We do at least have a vessel, 57 energy. Oh, lurkers get caught under without being under swarm here. That's pretty big.
Yeah, but he didn't get the filer, so that's it.
Wow. And yeah, game 2 going to be going to Eon Zerg here with some clever play. That third base positioning, the lurker, defiler timing, man, like he did a good job kind of pulling this one back to a tie.
Yeah, that was definitely a smart move, and TerrOr was just completely thrown off. Like, he had no idea what was going on. So well done from Eon Zerg. I feel good for him because at least he got redemption from game 1, which maybe he shouldn't have won with his ultra attack, but he definitely shouldn't have lost that way. So I'm happy that he ties it up 1-1. And we get into the final game of this best of 3. It is, of course, going to be TerrOr's pick. But I think we're going to have Retro again, Machine. I think Retro is just such a good map for Terran. It fits TerrOr's playstyle very well. And it also allows him to disguise his build that I feel like it must be Retro unless it gets vetoed by Eon Zerg.
Yeah, it could be a good map. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But it seems to be a map that a lot of the Terrans have been favoring, as you've said. So, yeah. You know, we've gotten to see a couple different things so far from both these players. TerrOr's patented 8-racks is kind of paid off just about every time. I'd be hard-pressed to see if he doesn't maybe go for another 8-racks here to kind of start things off. Meanwhile, Eon Zerg has kind of showed a little bit of everything himself. You know, early pool play, game 1 versus TerrOr. You know, although it didn't quite pay off, there's definitely a possibility there where it could have. And yeah, it's all down to this now. It's all down to the final game. And oh, you called it. Going to be Retro for game 3 here between these two. So, as you said, not a, you know, probably a map that Terrans seem to like, but when you look at the statistics of the map there for TVZ, very even. I really think this one could go either way, folks. So with this, let's go into our final game of the series. It's going to be Eon Zerg versus TerrOr on Retro. And spawning, top right, the Peruvian Terran in the blue. It is TerrOr.
Yep, and in the bottom right, our red Zerg, it's Eon Zerg, and again, it's just his day. He hit the lottery. TerrOr's got top right again, and you know, after all of his 8-racks this day, I feel like we could be ready for some 14cc.
You think so? You think he's just kind of scared off enough of the Zergs that he might just go greedy the other way?
Yeah, I think at this point, Eon Zerg may be thinking, like, are you 8-raxing again? It's unlikely, so, well, it could be, there it is. It is going to be another 8-racks. I'm shocked that 4 games have been 8-racks. I really thought that this time it could be a 14cc.
He's just so good at this build, man. It's kind of hard to argue why he shouldn't at this point. Unfortunately for him, this is the first time today that he's going to be scouted first with an Overlord, so we'll have to see how Eon Zerg reacts here. Prior, he, you know, canceled his gas inside the main, had excellent drone control to defend his natural from the early bunker rush, and I would expect more of the same here.
Yep, at least he's going to know that it's coming, and he won't build additional workers here. We did have the 12 hatch, it's going to be an 11 pool. And he sees the SCV already leaving, and he's going to see that Rax, there it is. So he knows exactly what's coming.
Pool's not done, and this was a 12 pool. 13!
What's he doing? What is he doing?
I mean, he must be very confident in his drone control.
Well,
2 more drones.
At least he has, you know, vision with his Overlord, right? He can drill with it. He's still not built the pool! Dude, where is it?
Dude, I don't think he even cares. I don't think he even cares, man. He's just gonna straight up keep building drones and kill TerrOr here. This is crazy, because this is a big drone pool, right? The one good
he
thing
built
about
it.
Yeah, he did build it. It's
There's
gonna
a
eventually
okay.
pop up.
Oh, is he gonna corner him? Oh, it was a good idea. But he can't drill in that position. He can drill this Marine.
Yeah,
but
he does. Gets on top of him. At least I mean, it is high ground, so those drones taking a lot of additional damage here. I'd like to see him build an extractor at that base, just to kind of cancel it and get the additional HP. But oh no, this can't be good here for Eon Zerg. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh, dude, what a monster, man. And makes it out with 4 drones at low HP. Still, TerrOr might think he should have a pool up at this point. He's droning Nyoken.
He's a genius! Machine, I can't believe you were doubting his pool timing. This was calculated all along.
All along, man, all along. I don't know why I thought otherwise. Look at the drone count. It's 14 drones after all that to the 18 SCVs of TerrOr here. TerrOr gonna, you know, get this scout inside the main, man, but I think eOnzErG's fine. I think he's in a great spot here. Oh,
he's
TerrOr
in a dominating position. He's got so many drones.
Yeah. TerrOr, oh, taking a 3rd base on locate. Oh my gosh. He is making some lings to help handle this Marine move out here, which, I mean, he obviously needs to do. If you're TerrOr, like, what are you thinking?
Well, I can tell you what I'm thinking. If I'm TerrOr, I'm sitting in my chair thinking, wait a minute, I just 2-facted Dewalt. I killed his first 2 goons. It still didn't work. Now I 8-racks the guy. This guy didn't even build his pool. He didn't build lings, and the 8-racks didn't work. It's like, well, do I just not have an early game as Terran? Do they just beat me with workers? Why do I even bother? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd be thinking the same thing, man. This ended up being such a great call from Eon Zerg here. Still very much a playable position from TerrOr. We got the command center already up at the natural, so you know his eco is about to spike. Constant drone production, though, out of Eon Zerg. Not even bothering to harass the SCV in the main with a Zergling.
Okay, thankfully he has a lair. I was about to lose my mind if I watch drones win the game, and then he sees a wall, and he just goes speedling, and then wins the game with that. And I'd be like, okay, I just don't even know what's happened in ZVT anymore. But so Lair's gonna finish. Spire's been coming up. We've got another eBay Academy follow-up for TerrOr. So this looks very similar to what we saw on Shooting Break.
Yeah, definitely. Getting those quick upgrades going is TerrOr here. +1 already underway. Eon Zerg, though, only 6 lings on the map, and as we know, 3rd base at the 6 o'clock location as well. You know, if you're TerrOr and you just had a hidden base play end up winning, you know, the game against you, sometimes the least likely base location you're going to scout would be like a 6 o'clock. So we'll have to see how he reacts here.
If he scans, sees a Spire, so everything looks pretty normal. Okay, we've already got 2 sunken set up at the 3rd base. This is a really tough build to deal with as Terran, I can tell you from experience, because Zerg just has massive econ off a 3 base. They got 3 gas. You can't break anywhere, and now you have this 4 racks. Not that 4 racks is a big commitment, but it delays your tech. So I don't know what Terra's going to do as a follow-up.
I like how Eon Zerg plays this in that he never really plays this greedy, right? Like, he constantly is getting creep colonies ahead of time just in case for those worst, you know, position scenarios that do pop up. He is protected. The game will continue on. Because TerrOr is definitely known for his stun timings as well. But we do see 3 medics move out with a group of Marines here. Looks to be a pretty sizable force, but, you know, as we stated, Eon Zerg, you know, has those creep colonies already in position. Ling counter.
You knew it was going to happen. Eon Zerg, anytime he sees an opening, he goes for it. And we do have that evolution at chamber at the third base, so this really does look like game 1 on shooting break. There's the Hydra Den. Okay, there's no Queen's Nest, so I guess it's a little bit different. And this signals to me that we could have just a massive engagement in the middle at some point with Ling, Lurker, Mutalisk.
This is kind of the style that I've been seeing from a lot of Zergs. They really just kind of wait until that +1 armor kicks in for ground and have just been spamming Mutaling mid-game and trying to catch Terrans out in the center of the map, and it can be quite strong.
Yeah, when I do actually watch, pro streams like Soma or whatever, I have seen them do this a decent amount of the time. Players like Urban actually really like this type of style. A lot of Lings, a lot of Mutas, and just try and engage in the center of the map. But it's hard to make work. But with the +1 armor, it's actually going to help negate that +1 weapon of Terran. But yeah, you can't bleed Mutalisk like this.
Yeah, I mean, even just those quick shots, it does so much damage at being able to keep Muta retention. And we're already seeing another Force of Bio moving out here for TerrOr. Queen's Nest and Hydra Den with Lurker upgrade underway, so this is likely not going to be that Muta Ling timing we were talking about.
If there were more Lings right now, that army's dead. That is just 12 Marines. I mean, really, that's nothing. You gotta be having like 2 groups by now, 9 minutes into the game. He's very lucky that Eon Zerg didn't build more Lings and just crush this.
Yeah, very true. But, I mean, at the same time, what Eon Zerg is building are those tech units that will kind of give him some retention going into mid-late game, right? Lurker's always going to be valuable. Muta's always going to be valuable. So just because, he's maybe doing something a little more orthodox, I think it's still a fine position to be in here.
Those were free gifts right there. He needs to take those gifts when they come, and he's going to take 1 Marine down for free. But the problem is now this 12 Marine medic group has now turned into 25, and we're going to have a counterattack into the natural. There's actually not much here, but he doesn't know. Okay, he does know. Jumps on a little bit. Okay, actually he is going to pounce on this army. TerrOr, all he can do is counterattack. But I think Lurker should be up.
Yeah, I think Lurkers will be up. Oh, they are morphing in. They're about 95% done here. This is going to be close.
There's no medics.
Oh, they didn't run with the other Bioforce, and suddenly 3 Lurkers plus a Sunken. This is going to be quite difficult to break.
Oh!
2 spines from Eon Zerg.
That was a game-saving spine hit. Got, what, like 7 Marines there? Lurkers should be able to save the day, and they do. And meanwhile, the Mutas... Okay, actually, they're not racking up kills in the natural. I thought they were. But he did a decent amount of damage. However, actually not as much damage as I thought. The worker count 30 to 45. But the problem is there's still no vest. Oh my gosh, Hive just started. I thought it was farther along.
Yeah, I'm sure Eon Zerg did too. But with that, I mean, that does hurt a little bit. Not being able to get your Hive started in time. That means no Defilers in time. And as we already know, this has been siege tanks out of TerrOr so far. So likely another follow-up siege push timing incoming.
This is going to be hard to stop. You just lost your whole army. You know this guy doesn't have that many barracks. You killed a lot of his product or a lot of his rally point Marine medics, but instead he's not going to push the issue here. He is going to go for maybe some hold position Lurker shenanigans outside of the choke.
Yeah, not a bad call, right? We know the vessels seem a little delayed at least. Hive not quite done yet. But TerrOr is, I mean, he's very smart. He's not going to move out to a bad position without a vessel here.
He's just going to sit. Well, the thing is the Mutas are microing on this side, so he may be thinking that, hey, you've got hold position Lurkers there, but not on the left side.
Oh, we do see a turret, though. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I think it will see it.
Okay, well, now he's going to see it. But this is hard for TerrOr to push anywhere because... Oh, yeah, those were on hold position, by the way. It's hard for TerrOr to push the bottom also because now, if he goes to the bottom side, he's got to run into Lurkers that are on high ground.
Yeah, overall, this is kind of a rough position for TerrOr here. Only 1 tank, so it's not like he's going to be able to break through those 3 Lurkers anytime soon. Oh, good shot from Eon Zerg and those 11 Mutalisks. We should have a Radiate here shortly, though. Oh, does get the tank. Wow, very nice.
How did those mutas not die? None of them died there. Just take some damage. There's a drone at mid left. Finally puts down the hatchery there. He has a macro hatch at his third base. Okay, this could be a mistake. He catches the lurkers. I think that actually the Marines should be able to clean everything up. The radiate never went off.
Yeah, I don't even know if he has a radiate quite yet. Maybe it's still upgrading because there's no reason not to irradiate the mutas there. There we go.
He was waiting.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that did a lot of damage. That was a good pickoff. That vessel was... Oh, what was that?
Oh,
he had the lurkers
counter.
at mid-right. He thought all the lurkers were on the left side, so he counterattacked at the same time. Didn't actually... I'm not sure how much he actually killed there, but that was a good idea.
It's at least going to force a move back here from this force of terror. Wow, gets the vessel. That's huge. Dropship.
Oh my god. So a dropship could have been a vessel, so that's just going to be one less irradiate. This is an amazing move from Eon Zerg. No!
Oh, no! Oh, man. I think he thought the vessel was rallied over them. Does get the final irradiate off. That should finish off the beetles here, but still massive damage from Eon Zerg here and giving himself some great map positioning.
Yeah, that was really good. And we have the Hydra, Lurker, Defiler follow-up. This is so hard to stop if you don't have amazing vessel control, amazing tank count, and he may have great vessel control, but you gotta have vessels to actually have amazing control. So this may just end the game. There is no Defiler though. Oh my god!
Walking forward. Wow. Okay. Still big spines there from the Zerg player, Eon Zerg.
Well, you gotta be careful making moves like this because Marine Medic is strong. He's got one tank in the back shelling off some big hits onto the lurkers, but there's not a lot of Marine support.
And we know he's got a Defiler. If a single Defiler walks in here, this could be game over for TerrOr.
He unburrowed the lurkers and he didn't get the tank! He didn't get the tank!
Wow. Man, this game is just like balanced on a knife's edge, man. It is just so back and forth here. TerrOr hanging on for now, though. Needs to start thinking about securing his own third base, or Eon Zerg could run away with this one.
Well, one thing I have noticed is when Zerg players start building Hydra Lurkers, a lot of time they don't build the drone count anymore after that. I did see, as I said, that Eon Zerg built 5 more drones, but you gotta be careful because, yes, you've got a lot of macro hatches, yes, you've got 4 bases, but you still need to have big econ versus Terran, and right now 43 drones is not enough. I still don't see the Defiler. Where is it?
Yeah, he's really got to get a Defiler across the map here. It would be a game winner at this point. If he just got it into the right position or had at least used it to hold this top right base. As we can see, it looks like TerrOr gunning for mid-right.
Vessels. Now we've got out a decent vessel count, so they can start racking up some lurker kills. He gets, I think it was 2 right there. TerrOr is taking top middle, so he's going to have his third base up and running in just a second.
Dropship's still in play, so we'll have to see how TerrOr tries to utilize that. Maybe he'll, I don't know if he knows about mid-left yet, but it would be a great drop location.
I like the SCV just in the center right there to scout for any counterattacks. Ling will spot top middle. Eon Zerg is move commanding a lot. Still gets down the Dark Swarm though.
Ooh, that's going to push TerrOr back here. Good amount of bio falling, but the vessel count will take out this Defiler here.
How much energy does it have? It's 9. It can't get down a second cloud.
Oh, that's always rough. Yeah, this should kind of push Eon Zerg back here. Eon Zerg, I mean, should have tried to back up.
They'll drop in the main at Eon Zerg's base. That's why there is a move command, is because there's a drop happening at the same time.
Oh, jeez. Looks like Eon Zerg's done a great job holding this, though. Doesn't look like it's done too much damage here. Drone count still seems pretty healthy. But yeah, nice move there from TerrOr, putting some counter pressure on.
Yeah, but TerrOr's retaining all of his vessels, and he's got double vessel now. His tank count is kind of consistently low, but if he can just get good irradiates over and over and over, we've seen players like JYJ just win the game with just pure Marine Medic vessel. Mid-left actually got scouted by an SCV, so TerrOr now knows where the 4th base is.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, if he can somehow shut down that 4th gas of Eon Zerg, you know, it really kind of throws Zerg for a loop, man. They're much less able to be aggressive. You know, they're not really looking for trades. They're just kind of trying to look to hang on and hold any 4th gas that might be possible. Ooh, Vessel's moving way too far forward, especially against Hydra Lurker here. That was a missed opportunity for a huge plague. Still though, Eon Zerg looks comfortable just moving across the map here. First Dark Swarm moving down. And as we know, the Vessels have been caught off guard here on the opposite side. Nice pickup.
He gets 2 of the Vessels. It's not as bad as it could have been. There were 7 Vessels there. Now it's just down to 5. That was a good play again. Eon Zerg's econ is good now, sitting out at 51 drones. That's fine. What I have noticed is lack of wings. So when he consumes, he's going to be eating either a Lurker or a Hydra, which you really don't want to do. Again, we're moving in, but there's no Defiler this time. This seems like just a waste.
Yeah, it's absolutely a waste, man. You can't be moving in without Lurker Hydra. You got to be as efficient as possible in this matchup, or Terrans and Zergs alike will punish you for it. So yeah, that's going to be Eon Zerg pushed back here, forced to kind of consolidate his forces a little bit. Another dropship outside the natural here for TerrOr. We'll have to see where he's maybe choosing to engage with that.
Oh, the dropship could get intercepted. Oh, of course, he just barely misses it. But what I'm most worried about for TerrOr is he's mined out and his main is natural. He's only on 1 base, where Zerg is still mining on 4 bases. Another move out. The vessel count is absurd now. It's like at 10. We desperately need a plague on these vessels.
Yeah, it's not even like
he's countering.
TerrOr's playing too, you know, strong with the vessel play. He's running in with them plenty. There have been opportunities for a plague, just hasn't hit him. No. Oh, this is not going to work.
He's bleeding off a ton of Hydras and Lurkers. The Marines, it's 7 Marines and 1 medic, but they've just killed 1 billion units in the main. At the same time, the Defiler's going to get picked off, and there's a ton of bio outside of the natural.
Yeah, both those Defilers going down. At least there is a Dark Swarm at the natural with Lurker, so this should live on a little bit here. Nice Lurker spine taking out a clump of bio there. But yeah, it's kind of, I mean, I feel like there have been no Scourge. TerrOr could just eraser the mineral line at the 3rd, or the natural even.
Well, there's big trades going on at both sides. Obviously, the drop did a lot of damage. The vessels are racking up a lot of kills. The science facility died, though, so that means there's going to be no more vessels being produced for a long time. There's the consume that I was talking about, having to consume a Hydra just to get down
Where's the plague?
Yeah, we need he desperately needs a plague. All these vessels are just sitting right here.
Yeah, for like the 10th time this game. Man. Well, with that, at least Eon Zerg does survive. The econ is still there, gotta say. 54 drones here for Eon Zerg to the 61 SCVs of TerrOr. And TerrOr getting into a position now where he needs a 4th base.
Yeah, TerrOr needs to get... I don't think he can expand to mid, right? I just don't feel like that's easy to take base. So his only other option is to go to top left. And Eon Zerg, he's going to double expand. He's got good upgrades. He's got +3 armor. I'm actually surprised he hasn't switched into ultras or something at this point.
Yeah, I think he wants to rely on plague. He's just not been using it.
Yeah, he needs to land it though. Where is
he? He definitely needs to
get that
energy upgrade.
There we go. He got the tank. Yeah, he needs that. He got the tanks, but whoa.
Yeah, I don't.
Another Dark Swarm.
He's almost like hesitant to plague the vessels. I don't understand it. It's an odd choice for sure. Because I mean, look at this. He has vision of the vessels. They're just sitting right outside. One plague would
he? Okay, there's the Defiler mound. For some reason, I thought maybe he lost the Defiler mound. Okay, now this may just be too little for TerrOr to be sitting out with on the map. The good Irradiate's coming down, dealing a lot of damage. The Hydra, there's a bunch of Hydras at the bottom side. Okay, there we go. Okay, now he's going to start knocking down some of the vessels, but these Lurkers are just not enough to push through.
Yeah, definitely not, man. Not the unit count he needed going into these engagements. TerrOr continues on.
TerrOr still needs to get another base. That's a double dropship.
Yeah. Double drop could be very strong here, especially with Zerg taking so many bases that are undefended. You know, bottom left. A big drop bottom left or mid left could be what TerrOr really needs to kind of just end the game. Look at the vessels though, just untouched once again.
The Marine count is ridiculous. Oh my gosh, there's, what was that, 9 or 11 vessels? Crazy amounts of vessels. He's just able to irradiate every lurker that pops out.
He could start irradiating Hydra
I think
at this point, I think
this could be the game-ending attack. And there's no Defiler here. All the lurkers got irradiated or are about to get irradiated.
Yep.
Fireball's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. Pushing Eon Zerg back once again. And, I mean, man, he's just got to get this Defiler out there. At least he's able to put down a swarm, but man, one plague on these vessels is really what I want to see here. There's no reason to run in with these individual Hydras.
TV is
oh, he does. It's a swarm.
This is just such a close game. It's weird because there's 11 vessels, and I'm like, dude, there's just too many vessels. But then I look at the map, and Eon Zerg still has 6 bases, you know? It's like...
Yeah, true. I mean, if the game continues on and TerrOr doesn't get a 4th base sometime soon, it's going to start swaying in Eon Zerg's favor.
We got the double drop in the main. He could even elevator again into the main. But I think what this drop is intending to do is to draw all the units into the main, and then he can bust the natural finally.
Might target down that Defiler mount too. That would be a big pickup.
Ugh. Man, Marine Medic is just so strong versus Hydra Lurker.
Especially with no range attack upgrades, and we're not seeing enough.
He doesn't have range upgrades? I guess I haven't...
Oh, I was talking the Zerg range attack upgrades. I hope he has range. I hope TerrOr has range.
No, that's what I mean. Zerg doesn't have any range. He doesn't have any damage upgrades on his links. He doesn't have any damage upgrades on his Hydras either. He has +1.
Just now got +1. He must have. Yeah.
Okay, there's a vessel that goes down. There's still three lurkers here. Supplies are 130 to 110. TerrOr somehow has gotten mid-right.
Yeah, flying over his natural command center to do so. Good call here. Really starting to utilize his full SCV count, but at the same time, man, look at the drones bottom left here from Eon Zerg. Actually up in worker count for the first time. I heard some consumes. There's got to be there needs to be a swarm here.
Yeah, he needs a swarm. Okay, there we go. He gets the swarm off, and wow, this is just a slow. There's a counterattack mid-right. If he kills this command center, that was a floated command center from the natural, by the way.
Wow, huge. Oh, at the same time though, man, look at this bio just chewing through Hydras. It trades so efficiently. Oh, yeah, but he might hold.
Yeah, but SCVs even have 3 armor. So, and the Lings have 0 damage. But supplies are still even. It's 125 to 113.
What a game, man. This is insane.
This is a crazy game.
We gotta get Defiler energy if you're Eon Zerg, and there needs to start being a Plague paired with a Dark Swarm, right? Like, it just has to happen.
I think he's done it. I think... Well, okay, there's a Dark Swarm. He gets the Dark Swarm down. The Marines bled off. The vessel count is not high at all anymore. It's 3. That's nothing. He still needs to get out another Defiler so he can push up here, but he's started to deal a lot of damage, and TerrOr's running out of resources at this point.
Yeah, the upgrade's really starting to kind of kick in for Zerg. You know, all he needed was a Defiler and, you know, some range attack upgrades, and suddenly things are trading very well. Oh. Another Dark Swarm goes down. And yeah, this is going to do damage now, mid-right. Guaranteed. Hydra's moving into position under that Dark Swarm, just starting to peck away at this Bioforce of TerrOr. Is there range attack for Zerg? I'm not sure if
I was about to say that. It seems like Zerg doesn't have range, but I could be wrong. Maybe they do now. But oh my gosh, more lurkers. And has Eon Zerg finally done it? A lot of SC. This is like 30 SCVs here, by the way, so he cannot afford to lose these. He's desperately trying to reinforce. You can hear so many irradiates going off, but I don't think it's going to be in time to save this base.
It's all down to these medics. Great irradiates, at least, is one thing. And there are some medics trying to keep the SCV force alive. Here we go. It's go time. TerrOr going up the ramp, but actually the spines are great. tearing through this Bioforce, and wow, eOnzErG just getting such efficient trades.
Yeah, but he held, and the SCVs didn't die because there's a medic healing, and the Hydras don't do much damage to them. How is he holding?
Fireback coming in as well. This was all up a ramp. This is insane play here from TerrOr.
Can't believe that he held that base. However, he lost a ton for that. He's now the one that's down 25 supply.
Yeah, I mean, the base's bottom left really been kicking in here for eOnzErG, and it looks like, honestly, it's fine if eOnzErG trades inefficiently. He's just got so many more units.
Yeah, he's got so many bases too. It's 6 base Zerg, 4 of them still mining. The vessel count, what is it, 3 now? More Marines streaming across the map. Hydra streaming from mid or bottom left all the way to the natural now. He's going to set up Lurker contain there. That's going to cut off reinforcements, which means mid-right is completely dead now. And the Champignon, this could be it.
The Champignon, man, making it, you know, such an entertaining game, but it looks like eOnzErG going to be taking out TerrOr to take the series, take the losers finals, and make it out of Group B, man. What an incredible series between those two.
That game really delivered. I kept looking at eOnzErG's gas. I'm like, dude, this guy's just permanently gas starved. Like, every time I looked, it was like 100 gas, 200 gas. We were wondering, why can't this guy build a defiler? It's because he just doesn't have any gas. Lurker Hydra is so expensive. And the counterattacks from eOnzErG were really dealing a lot of damage. I liked TerrOr's drops. They did great damage. As he finally built up his vessel count, obviously they did a lot of damage. But in the end, just too much econ for Zerg. If TerrOr could have kept eOnzErG on like just 5 bases, maybe he could have won, but just way too much econ.
Yeah, with that 6 base kicking online, I mean, that was it. He could make endless Lurker, endless Hydra. You know, he finally was keeping that defiler count up, you know, very well. He just proved to be such a problem for TerrOr, and you know, he really kind of like set the pace, right? You don't see that many Zergs that play so aggressive, that kind of, you know, force TerrOr to react in all these funny scenarios where you're moving into the natural with 3 or 4 Lurkers, you know, and kind of flanking, you know, some rallying forces. He really knows how to like shake up the game, delay TerrOr's timings, and man, he yeah, definitely deserved to walk out of this group.
Yeah, he should have. Well, shooting break should not have gone how it went. So eOnzErG with some redemption in game 2 and 3. I'm happy for him, and we got 2 former champs making it into the round of 8. Man, this group was really, really difficult, man. I'm very happy for both of them to make it out.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, absolutely one of the, you know, groups of death in this season of BSL. But yeah, such you know, 2 very respectable players walking out, and 2 more in Messiah and TerrOr, I'm sure going to be around for the next season of BSL. So looking forward to watching them play. But man, Dewalt and eOnzErG definitely making a big splash so far in BSL 17. Will be moving on to the round of 8.
Yep, so that's going to be it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, but of course we've got to thank our Patreon supporters, which make the BSL happen. So at the $100 level, we've got Star Lover and My Fleeting Dream, Striker Believe in Zero, Steve Schmidt at $50, $30 we've got Tim Cuz, Tupacalypse, Niantic. At $20 levels, we've got Medino, JC, Steven Robertson, Surikata, Boss Bates, Voltina Bulai, On My Way, Gordon Bradley, KJ Daniel, Lopez LML Quark, and all you other Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for supporting the BSL. I saw a couple of donations come in too, so thank you to Schloffhammer and Easy Eerie, if I remember correctly. Easy Eerie with the massive $100 donation. Thank you so much. Oh, it was right there. So thank you for supporting the BSL. And I think that's it today, Machine. These games were pretty nuts.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Almost sad to, you know, to have to say that's the end of it, but you know what? We will be back tomorrow, I believe, with Group D is the plan. So yeah, it's actually going to be some incredible players here. We have the Terran player Mihu, obviously, former BSL champion, facing off against a North American Zerg Hawk. Incredible player. I love watching each and every single time. We will also have a Terran and a Protoss in Ultra and Xiao GG. So, another incredibly competitive group here in Group D, and I'm really excited to see how these games go.
Yeah, I think Mihu is, of course, the massive favorite here, but we've got Hawk, who always plays well in BSL, Ultra, who's been playing very well recently, and Xiao GG, he took down Snow twice. Now, there's no Protoss here, but if you're playing at a level where you can beat a pro, I would start to think that Xiao could also be up there in terms of the favorites with Mihu. But Hawk is so good ZVP that I still think it's going to be tough for the remaining 3 players to get it out of this group. I think Mihu's kind of just, on another level, but other than that, I think it's up in the air.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, very excited to see how that one goes. As Dan said, folks, that's going to be it for us today. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Dan, for commentating with me. And as always, thank you to Zero for making it all happen behind the scenes, folks. We hope to see you again soon.